Grand Rising. Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the live. Starting off this old world building. See that Tartarian griffin here. I've done a video on this place before. Yeah, Grand Rising, knowledge is power. How are you doing? Doing a little investigating this beautiful start to the day here. Of course, this is said to be the chimney that was used for the original Confederate powder works. But I think that's just a cover story, if you will. This is interesting when you look at it, actually. You can see the whitewashed skies here as usual. It's indicative of some type of Photoshop scrubbing, really. Looks to me like there actually used to be some more infrastructure stuff going on there. Appreciate all the lights there too, by the way. And yeah, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Looks to me like at least I used to have like a wall around the entire thing, actually, if you look at it. Yeah, let's go around the other side here. So something interesting on the right side of the building itself, as we move our way around, naturally we have the Tartarian griffin. If I zoom in here, you can actually see it sitting right there. And as you move around here, that looks really cool. The sun coming right there. It's a castle, it's a castle. That looks absolutely ridiculous. So cool looking. You think I was in Europe or something. Yeah, if you come around the side of the building, zoom in here. Look at that. Got the 1880 up there in the corner. Of course, you got your ether resonators. I think those are originally ether resonators, harnessing the ether. The fifth element, the one that was removed from the periodic table of elements in the early 1900s. The timelines are all messed up. It's more accurate to be more like 880 if you follow Bully Slayer and his channel. He's been going for years now. You know, he talks about that. But yeah, man, I would say this is definitely like some type of castle. It's not it's not specifically a Confederate powder work building. And obviously you can see that it lowers down into the grade. So it's indicative that it goes under the ground more. I'll show you something cool here in a second too. I mean, the whole building's cool, but I'll show you something else cool here in a second. But let's get a little bit further up on this. Wow. It looks like whatever was sitting in that crest right there has been removed. Not surprising. Why there's a propane tank up there. Cape Augusta, no trespassing. A lot of wasp nests up there. You can see the old facade of the building though. It's been shellacked and covered over with other bricks. Oh, it's like a dead bird. Nice. You see here it goes underground too. But yeah, we'll go around the other side of the building here. See what we can see. Yeah, Tartarian griffin up there is so cool though. It's got 3 crescent moons and it looks like a knight on top of it. Yeah, you can see where this entire area was actually underground at one point. Yeah, I'll zoom in on that real quick. You can see that Tartarian griffin right there. Old world griffin. Somebody's actually translated that in my comment section on the video I did on this building before. It's in Latin. You can see where the door is right there. And how this used to be underground. This has been knocked away. This is like some type of holding section or something. Super cool. Let's walk over here to see what we can see inside. Tell me what you guys can see in there. Seems like maybe somebody used this to climb up there. You see anything in there? That's somebody's old speaker. Just an old Confederate powder work building, they say. Apparently all the gunpowder for the Civil War was here. Or was fabricated here, I guess you could say. What up, Snaff? Snafu in the building. You want to join, Snaff? You want to join the panel? My esteemed colleague in Tartarian infrastructure. Let's walk around here. Look at Snafu in the building.
What's up, brother?
What's up, my brother? Grand rising to you, sir.
Grand awakening to you.
How are you doing?
I'm utilizing a new device. My other one crapped out on me, so
Okay, I got you. You talking about your phone?
yeah. Well, no, my phone's fine. I have multiple devices, and just my favorite one went kaput.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
So I don't know how this one's gonna react yet.
Yeah, have to give it a little test run. Snaff, I think you went live with me here before. I just came back because I just love coming to this place. It's so freaking cool.
Yeah, it's very familiar.
See that undergrade stuff right there? Yeah, my wife and my daughter are still sleeping, so I said I'm gonna get up a little earlier than them and try to come out here and go live for a few hours. I don't think no didn't go down there. Yeah, this is that side of the building where it. Yeah, I'm not going down there. Not doing it.
Let's see here. Hold on.
Yeah. I started to last time, but as soon as I started going down there, it got really cold, and I said, nope.
Yeah, that thing's falling apart.
Yeah, it looks super abandoned. It looks dangerous. It's probably got asbestos all in the air, too. This one, I wonder what that sigil means now. That one right there. Oh, wow. I haven't seen this before. You can kind of see in there a little bit. It's like an old mirror or something. Wow.
Maybe it's the box that holds like the water hose for a.
Fire system.
Yeah, it looks like a box.
Yeah, I guarantee you there's some homeless people that have busted through here. More than likely. There actually are people here right now, so I can't really get too exploratory. Probably came at a bad time to do that, to be honest. Probably best to come in like the afternoon. Yeah, you can see though where this whole area was obviously underground. Though I was showing earlier how that door right there. You can see that door.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could make that with one step.
yeah. There's one right there too. I just think this the coolest part about this place is that right there, the little crest.
Yeah, what would be the purpose of putting in walkways and ladders and all of that if you weren't doing something else up there?
Yeah,
I mean,
you
there'd be
can.
no reason. There'd be no reason for all that.
No, I just think it's crazy how like the whole facade. I mean, you can see like the whole front of the building. You see where all the windows they've all been bricked over.
Yeah, it looks like it's missing part of the building right there where the white outline is. There was probably another building placed over it.
Right, they came back like this direction,
Yeah.
and then you got the 1880 thing up there in the corner, or 880, whatever whatever it actually says.
All the spires at the top there.
Yeah, the ether resonators.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that one. That's wild looking.
Yeah, that's freaking nuts, dude. So freaking cool. Let me go around the other side. I'll show you the other one. It's like the sister side of the building. It's actually that griffin's a little bit more blacked out. It's a little harder to see.
Turn to your right real quick. I just want to look at what you just passed by.
Do you want this?
Oh, it's closed up too.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's an under. That goes down and under. It looks like.
Yeah, that's that other side where that cellar. I mean, I definitely 100% know that there's a basement right there. I mean, you can see I'll show you real quick. Hold on, it's right here. You can see, for one, there's windows there, but you can see that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it goes underground. That's where that cellar goes. This little mini building that's in front of the entire facility. Yeah, it's like this little mini building,
We'll just
and
brick
then
it
you.
up here, and we'll brick it up there, and nobody will ask any questions.
No, I mean, dude, and then this right here. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah,
I mean,
they should at
it's
least let an artist come in and line it out and make it look better than that.
yeah, it's freaking bizarre, man. I mean, it's right there too. Look at that. They bricked over
That grading,
this.
huh?
All that broken glass. Yeah, you can see where it goes underground right there.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can really see that one right there.
Oh, that one's trying to fall off.
Dude, I wish it would so I could look at it. I wish it would. I would be gone with that thing in the car, bro. I'd be, Yoom. What is this thing made out of? Is the red mercury inside of it?
No shit.
Right,
I don't know. I've been thinking too. I mean, they were utilizing regular mercury also. It's
right. They were definitely using both. I mean, they both have their own functionalities for sure.
it amazes me just simple movement with regular mercury and it creates an electrical charge.
Uh huh.
Just moving it, put it in a vial over a voltmeter and just swirl it. And as it starts to create its little vortex because of the movement, it creates energy, and that's just mind blowing.
Yeah, it's crazy, just like the alchemical implications with that kind of material that they were using it for in conjunction with each other.
Yeah,
I just noticed the griffin snaff on this one is so much better, but if you look, his beak is black. Like it's It's much more artistically depicted. The top either looks to me like a Rosicrucian pelican or a phoenix, one or the other.
So like a chimera.
Yeah, and obviously the phoenix is representing coming out of the ashes, but the Rosicrucian pelican, if it's that, is also just an occult symbol because the Rosicrucian pelican is the symbol of Louisiana because I saw it all over the place when I was there about 3 years ago, and it represents the organization. Obviously it's a secret society, but the pelican is injuring itself, purposefully making itself bleed and then feeding its young off of its own blood. Basically, it's a fascinating thing to look into. Whoa.
What?
Wait, talking about the Rosicrucian pelican?
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, just go to Google if you get a chance and type in Rosicrucian pelican, and you can see it. It's got Masonic overtones all over it. But if you look up the state of Louisiana's flag, it will have the Rosicrucian pelican. I used to have a lot of that content on my old channel when I was Flat Out Truth 92, but that stuff that channel's been yeeted for so long that a lot of that stuff's been deleted. But yeah, just look it up. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting for sure.
Somebody already translated the Latin right there. I translated it one time too, but that's Latin.
Yeah, that's probably something I'd love to try to do is decipher Latin language and learn how to speak it myself.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see where you guys at. This is in Augusta, Georgia, and we got the same thing in Pittsburgh. Yep, it's all over the place, brother. I mean, dude, I went through a small town yesterday in South Carolina. It was called Batesburg, and it wasn't even like a town big enough to where I thought I would see anything related to like under like grade stuff. Snaff. I mean, it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little town. And I was looking at some of the buildings, and there was the same thing we saw in that building over there with that grade and the shit being covered up. So even in the towns that you wouldn't think have maybe evidence of mud flood action or reset stuff, it's there too. Like it's all over the place. Don't just think it has to be in a major city. You know, I think I've kind of thrown that old theory out of the window at this point that it doesn't have to be. Somewhere that has a lot of people. It can be a very, very rural town that there's evidence of it too. It's just even crazier in my opinion because it just proves it even more that there was a reset of some sort.
You just look at the old churches. They
Exactly.
have the old they have the old style churches in every freaking city.
Mm-hmm.
Because church was the education process before education.
Right.
There
And I mean,
wasn't a
it's
whole
right.
bunch of school. There wasn't a whole bunch of schoolhouses, in the 1800s.
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of those places probably weren't even church buildings originally anyway. They were just used for something else. They just rebrandished it with that narrative. And speaking of churches, let's take a ride up
Russia's
the
mind
road.
boggling. Yeah,
Huh?
KP. KFP.
Yeah, we're going to
Russia's
take a
mind
ride up the
boggling.
road.
A place that gets my goat is Turkmenistan. You go look there, it's a whole bunch of new shit.
Yeah.
Man, the implications there. Oh my goodness.
Right.
He said, "Go in."
I love how
Yeah,
people are just like go. Dude, there's literally people walking all around the building. They still use it for other stuff. I can't go in right now. If I was to go in, it would be probably in the middle of the night.
fuck that. I'd be like, "Yo, can I do a daytime? I just want to walk through here. That's it. Just want to walk through."
There we go. Yeah, there's people walking all around there.
I would have had to grab permission before I did anything. I ain't trying to end up in the hoosgat.
No, I mean you got to think about it too. Like a lot of these places, they are using it for other stuff other than just the old world stuff. They have no idea what they're actually working inside of. They're just working inside of a building for all they know. I would love to go inside there though.
Right. Safety meeting.
All right, we're gonna go down the block real quick and check out this other old world church. Steph, you've already been on this live expedition before, pretty much. You've seen a lot of the stuff we're gonna be looking at. All right, all right. So it's about 1.5 miles away. Moving, moving, moving.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Yeah, right. Trust me, it's we're always looking for red mercury, that rare substance. All right, all right, all right.
I find a lot of information about red mercury overseas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they still utilize it somewhat over there. I mean, I'm see the one that gets me is he'll take a piece of wire, or maybe it's just yeah, piece of wire, a little piece of metal, and he'll connect it from one side of the metal jar to the other side of the metal jar, and that piece of metal heats up uh, bright red in milliseconds.
Right. Yeah, I'll heat that piece of wire up and get red hot really quick.
And the characteristics that I keep seeing are it has zero reflection in a mirror, it's attracted to gold, and it's repelled by garlic.
Yeah, the garlic stuff is wild. It's like basically it's giving the impression that it's like vampire blood almost, is what I get from it.
Okay, so if you have a fascination with consuming blood, you know, that's vampiristic. Yes,
Yeah, I mean
vampiristic.
by nature.
Okay, so they give us the storyline of this. I want to drink your blood, but in reality, that's that Nephilim shit going on.
Oh yeah. Well, it goes back to the sons and daughters of Cain, the legacy of Cain that I did that video on recently on the
Yep,
TikTok, and it
yep.
basically Cain. There's Cain, Seth, and Abel, but basically that bloodline from Cain, the Canaanites. They're telling you that in that video game series, it's kind of that soft disclosure. Of course, when I was playing it when I was a child, I wasn't thinking about all this stuff. I was just playing an anti-hero vampire in the game, But when you look back on it, they're literally telling you the legacy of Cain is basically blood-sucking vampires, like the legacy of the Canaanites, if you
Okay,
will.
so so think about that. See, I personally think that they changed up and added some shit to Genesis to still give us part of the story that happened in Enoch, but it looks like the story of Adam and Eve and the story that's in Enoch about the fallen and all of that. It's like the fairy tale version, or it's focused on two of those entities, or there might even be another creation because Genesis 1 is talking about it goes through the creation and everything, and at the bottom it says be fruitful, multiply, I've given you every seed bearing plant and herb to use. Okay, so we have people created in their image, And then later on, you've got the Lord who creates Adam from the dust. And to use the dust, you'd have to add the living water to the dust. So that's where it looks like the mudman story comes in. But the problem is it's probably a convoluted story of the fallen coming down because the snake comes down, you know, fallen come down, the snake comes down,
Right.
seduces Eve, seduces Eve, and in Enoch it says the fallen came down because they found the women fair.
Yeah, there's
So
like there's basically, from what I get from it too, is like I talk about all the time, is you have the God of the Old Testament, or basically the demiurge, which is basically the one that put everybody inside of physical vessels and the creator of physical reality. And then you have our light, bodies, which is our basic, you call it your soul, your spirit, whatever name you want to put on it. As well. So yeah, I would agree. There's like multiple like layers to the onion to be unraveled there, Snaff. I definitely agree.
so to get into the giants, you go Adam and Eve. Okay, they had Cain and Abel. Okay, so in Enoch, the Nephilim turned against, started sinning against the earth. The sinned against the water, sinned against the air, sinned against the ground, and then when they couldn't be sustained, they turned to the people and
Right,
started
right.
devouring. Okay, so you get to Cain and Abel, and Cain and Abel, you read that, and it talks about the blood cried out from the ground. Where is your brother? I see Cain sitting there picking his teeth, talking about I don't know where he is. Who done ate his ass? Okay, so then you take the two names Cain, Abel, put them together.
Cannibal.
What do you got if you put them? Cannibal, Cain,
Yep.
Abel.
Cain ate Abel.
So this the problems that we're having today, underneath all the other real information we're trying to share, the realest of the information they don't want shared. But there's a huge case that has been going on that they're trying to deviate from forever on. But cannibalism has been on since the beginning.
Oh yeah. Like literally the beginning.
Yeah.
Grand Rising Lex, what's going on? You want to see a Jesuit symbol? Check this out. That's the symbol of the Jesuits right there.
Yep. It's everywhere.
Yeah, that one's wild.
The arches, all the arches.
It's very cool.
Those children
Cathedral.
around. Yeah. The cathode.
Cathode, the anode.
Yeah. Let's not get it twisted. We're figuring shit out. Sacred geometry, exactly. We're supposed to know all about this, but they stole this knowledge.
Absolutely.
They sent us to school and they taught you a whole bunch of bullshit. And how much of that are you using in life? None.
Dude, look at the detail in that right there
Bro,
alone. That
bro,
that is insane.
bro, they screwed up 400 times before with that hammer and chisel before they got that done.
So my dad just had brick masons. They did work at his house, and when they did work, it took them like days just to do a basic little, brick work. And this, with that right there, I can just only imagine
Look, that's beautiful.
I mean, good googly moogly, dude.
There you go, Kevin. No, man, they did that with horse and buggy and a hammer and a chisel. And I mean, they're good like that, man. They're good like that. Come on, follow the narrative, people. Follow the narrative.
I think the glass work is all an afterthought, actually. I don't even think if there was glass, that's not the original glass.
No, I've seen I've seen too much information that says there was no glass and it reacts like a cathode.
You can see it go all the way around the building, though. Hold on. Let's go up there. Look at that.
See, the
Look at that.
arches were important.
Yeah, let's go around. We're
It's
going to go around.
it's beautiful nonetheless, but yeah.
I even got curved bridge on the outer gateway here. I mean, even this could have been tied into the whole structure of the ethereal harnessing, if you will, as well.
Look at that, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Like woven bricks. Like, how do you weave brick?
So pointy. Nice. Can we get us a master mason, master brick mason
The
up in
master.
here, please? Okay, so we'd like you to replicate just not even a whole tower, just some of that fascia right there in the right, just right there on the front, right there on the front. You replicate that, then I'm impressed. Is that one continuous arch?
Yeah, and it just keeps going back that way.
But it's is it one piece or is it?
I'm about to walk up on it.
That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Where you at again, bro?
I'm in Augusta, Georgia.
There you go, plant.
Let's see what that says, y'all. Can you read that?
Look at this shit, man.
It says Sacred Heart Cultural Center. It has been placed with the National Register of Historic Places. Is the state's Department of, can't really read that. Well, something else, guys, if you look, hold on. Check this out. Check this out. There's always little nuanced details in these buildings. If you look right there, look at that. INRI. No telling when it was built. It definitely wasn't built. Whatever date they're saying it, I guarantee you it wasn't. And you probably won't even say they built it. They'll say it was founded. See that right there? Look at that. They found this building. They didn't build this building.
Yeah, but yeah, this was done by real masons.
Yeah, look at that. It goes back to Tubal Cain and stuff. One of the first Masons. I mean, all secret societies, it goes back to the antediluvian era, like me and Snaff talked about with the giants, like Cain and Abel and all that junk. I mean, it really does. I think people think that secret societies were founded by human entities. I don't think they were at all. I think they were formed by fallen angels and
Yep,
all this stuff.
that's
There's
right. Yeah,
the Jesuit symbol again with the two keys. And the Jesuit society, of course, is the society of Jesus. But I think people hear the Jesus part and they're like, "It's a good society." No, that's not no. It is not. They were a cult seeker society, more like gatekeepers, if you will. Look at those freaking pillars, Snap. Look at the pillar detail.
There you go. Ball worship. That's like globe belief. Globe believers inadvertently participate in a ball religion. Not a ball, a ball.
Exactly, impossible. You can
I'm
see
not religious. Yeah, you really are. You were educated into religion. Because there's nothing real about your fantasy globe. There's nothing. As a
exactly,
matter of fact,
Kevin.
if you're biblical, and I can't stand religion because they walk around with that Bible underneath their arm, saying that they're religious, believing what they were taught in school without any fact checking whatsoever. That's blasphemy.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, this goes into this is why I consider myself more Gnostic than anything. And people hear the word Gnostic and they're like, "Oh, that's heretical." Well, no, actually, it's not. Because if you do your due diligence and your research, you'll discover that proto-Orthodox Christianity were the Gnostics. And what you had happen from my personal research is the proto-Orthodox Christians, which predates Orthodox Christianity, was usurped by the Catholic or Vatican, so the secret society, the Jesuits, and also the Roman Empire itself, because it goes into that word Gnostic, which means knowledge of spiritual mysteries. This is why we call somebody that doesn't know what to, go along with or through their own understanding, we call them agnostic. And I've used that even when I was an Orthodox Christian a long time ago, so it's funny you use a lot of these words casually, and the evidence of what you're talking about is literally in the etymology of what you're speaking, but people don't research the language that they're speaking. They don't even understand what they're talking about. So, when I say Gnostic, there's been such a stigma that's put towards that word that people don't even understand what it actually means. And you have two different sects of Gnosticism too. So you have what is, in my opinion, the original Gnostics, which were originally the Christians, if you will. That's a blanket term. But also you have what are called the New Age Gnostics, which is all this New World Order Gnosticism, where they want to essentially, they're terrified of death. So this is all the elites, if you will, or parasites. I don't really like to call them elites. But basically they want to put their spirit or their soul, if you will, their light bodies, like we were talking about, our light bodies are inside of physical vessels. These elites want to never die. They're terrified of death. This is what Mr. J.E., I don't want to say his name for entertainment purposes only and get the live shut down. I hope you can put two and two together there. But if you do your research with him, that's actually what he was trying to do, is put his soul into a robot body because they're terrified of death.
After you've acted the way you are acting here, yeah, you might want to be a little bit concerned about what's going to happen next. Me personally, I try to live in a decent manner. That's all I can do.
Absolutely. Columns wrapping inward, it's the arches look crazier. All are separate, one solid piece. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I think it's all one solid piece. Let me walk up on it again. Let me zoom in from this side. It's kind of hard to tell because I can't walk through the gate. But if you look, I think it's one solid piece.
That's
Like
why I asked what I asked.
Yeah, Snaff. I think you're on point there with that, dude. I think it is all one solid piece, which is absolutely insanity. You can kind of get a side reference there. You can see the inward spirals going in there.
All the Chevy emblems.
Well, I think that's them. Once again, they use. I'll tell you one that gets me. They use it in car emblems a lot. Of course, they have to flaunt this crap in front of our face all over. All the different symbols and whatnot. But I'll tell you a big one that got me. Google live. Google the Alpha. I think Alpha Romero. I think that's the sign. The Alpha Romeo. My dad used to
Yeah.
have one in Germany. But if you Google that symbol, um, it's like a snake eating another person, which in my opinion, it's representing like some serpent seed kind of crap going on, man.
No doubt.
Definitely a reptilian connection with all this stuff with the shapeshifters. I used to be pretty anti-lizard person back in the day, but after all the stuff I'm taught to with SNAF and just being in the community for so long, I definitely think that there's a shape-shifting lizard stuff going on. Absolutely, reptilians,
No.
and that's why they got rid.
Again.
And that's why they got rid of the bells.
Yeah. Again, bro. I was told a while back that again cannot be said by them.
Kinnininigan?
Yeah.
Kinnininigan. I haven't heard that one yet, Snav.
Yeah. I did a live on it, invited people up to come and say it.
Kinnininigan.
Yeah. Just something I've heard over the years, that the word again cannot be said by one of the lizard creatures.
Shenanigans. Shenanigans. Better the fire upon the roll, better the blade, the shot, the bowl, than crucifixion of the soul. Maryland, my Maryland.
Is it coincidence? No, they took that shit away from us. I've seen information that would lead me to believe that there were people who would go into the giant bell underneath it and stand in the middle while they rung it. And there's a lot of information today that says if the base of us is frequency, then frequency could have a healing effect on us. That's like the music. They used to transmit the music. What was it? A 432. When you start looking into cymatics and you see the pattern for 432 is very beautiful, like a flower. Oh shit! I left my little puppy outside.
432 hertz. Hertz.
Yeah,
432.
Yeah, and then they weaponized it or demonized it by changing it to 440. And when you look at the cymatics of 440, it's got the outward portion of that same pattern, but the end portion looks all distorted.
Right.
So if it's all based on frequency, the bells could have had a healing style effect on us, just like those tuning forks you see all over TikTok. They're saying those tuning forks can be beneficial, which
right.
There's things that I would years ago I would have went, wow, that's wild. I don't. But today, shit, truth is stranger than fiction.
Absolutely, man. That's why I'm doing my series on my YouTube channel. My YouTube's called Ether Freak, if you can find me on there. But I have part 1 and 2 of the Final Fantasy series, which it kind of goes back into my mind's eye when I was playing those games as a child, because those games, they have they have a lot of what we consider to be old world things in those games, such as airships, crystal cymatics, the armor that the main characters wear appear to be ethereal. They use ethereal weapons. They're using magic. They're using a lot of these archetypes of what we would consider to be old world or Tartarian. I use Tartarian. It might not be specifically Tartarian. I'm just using that as a point of reference to talk about the old world, because it's, when I say it, most people know what I'm talking about, but, yeah, I think it's fascinating. That's why.
That's the history they didn't teach.
Right. And of course they're putting it in video game format, you know, so it's they're well, something else about the series, and I talk about it in the series on my channel on Ether Freak. I talk about how the name itself of the game series, it's called Final Fantasy. So it's indicating the end of something, correct, with the finality of it. And they're insinuating that it's fantastical. It's a fantasy. But is it really a fantasy at all? You know, and that's why I started the series. And every single entry in the Final Fantasy series, it has like something new it kind of brings to the table. So I've done Final Fantasy 1 and 2 now. And the next episode, of course, will be Final Fantasy 3. And I can't wait to get to Final Fantasy. I think it's 6, because 6, it really captures that steampunk archetype of robots. But you also have the castle aesthetic as well. And some of them, they kind of have it, but I think 6, it really insinuates that steampunk Tartarian castle magic vibe, you know, where they're riding around on robots and stuff. But
Yeah,
they're also, you know, they're interacting with buildings and cymatics and magic still at the same time. So it's that combination of technology with, you know, what would be considered medieval, if you will.
exactly. Exactly. Is it Final Fantasy, or was it just the final of that fantasy? Considering all these all these different formats of information that have been coming out show that it's more real than it was fantasy. I mean,
Absolutely.
just
And that
using the airships.
absolutely. Well, every single Final Fantasy that I'm aware of, you use an airship to travel on, but usually the airships in the Final Fantasy game series, they're shaped like a pirate ship or something, but they're extremely technologically advanced because it's floating through the freaking air. So you know, it's wild that people are just like, oh, it was just blimps. You know, it's something way beyond what would be considered a blimp. You know, it's using the ether probably to actually float through the air, as well as we talked about this too before, Snaf, with airplanes. I think they've really lied to us about how airplanes operate with the jet fuel in the jet in the wings.
Here recently, I watched a video talking about disclosures of they have they're using now compressed air to utilize their the turbine action.
Wow.
So I mean, disclosure is coming because this is, and I have to say, this is the age of enlightenment. People are waking up and awakening from the information that we're told and realizing that we've all been led astray. I meet a new truther almost every day. It seems like
Absolutely.
they
We
can't
talked
hide this shit anymore.
we talked about this too, Snap, with the doors up there. Why is there a door?
Yeah, that's weird.
And you zoom in there, you can see the Jesuit. Yeah, just Google Jesuit symbolism, and you should be able to find that. It's kind of their stamp. I live all parts Tennessee, and there's got to be a world right under our nose. I never knew. Dude, go to freaking downtown Nashville. You will have your mind blown. I also have old videos on me back from about 2 years ago when I was in Nashville. And I went to the Parthenon, and they say it's a replica of the Parthenon. I beg to defer. I think it's the original Parthenon, and it's got the complete pantheon of gods and goddesses on the front aesthetic of the building, and the doors. I'm not kidding. I can take one finger and press open the doors, but the doors have got to be like 20 or 30 feet tall, and they've got to literally weigh tons. But they're so perfectly created. You can take one finger and press the doors open. So It's like, why would that even be a thing to make the doors that big? Because there's probably freaking, Nephilim walking around back then.
I I don't doubt it at all.
Here's something cool to check out, y'all. If you look, if you look, you can see old, new, old, new. So cool. Yeah, Lex, it's the original in my opinion, man. I think all that stuff in Greece, it is old, is all get out, but I would say that the stuff in actual Greece, or the Greece they tell us that is Greece over in Europe, that is something else entirely different that is not connected to the Greece that is more than likely over here in the Americas. I think that's why you have Athens, Georgia, you have Sparta, you have Colombia, you have all these areas that are right next to each other, and this is more than likely the original location in the south of the Greek stories that we get from the Odyssey or the Iliad, if you will. Let's meander on back over this way some. Let's go check out. Let's go check out a little bit more stuff over this way. I really want to I'll have to check the schedule for the Sacred Heart Church, and maybe sometime I can get a live going and go inside that sucker. Because I would love to see the interior. And it's funny because it's Sunday, but it's closed. I need coffee. Oh, I'm already up on that. Hold on, let me drag my puzzle piece into place. They want to make sure I'm not a robot.
Yeah, bong and a blintz.
There we go.
Elevate my Craig.
All right, let's ride around. I love how the normies are just walking around, and people are so like naturally curious. Like they'll see me filming, and they're like, "Dude, what is this guy filming? It's just some old church." Like I can just see in their face like what they think I'm looking at. The homeless people. Yeah, the homeless people were like, "What the hell is this guy looking at, man?" It's kind of dangerous here. Try to cross this road. We'll see what else we can check out. That's probably one of the coolest churches in downtown Augusta, honestly. Augusta's not super duper big. Oh yeah, it's definitely very nice outside. Perfect day to do some exploring, some old world exploring. With Snafu and the Old World Explorer. So they just destroyed here to the left. Hold on, I'll back up over here and I'll show you this. Hold on. I'll back my car up. I'll show you this. They just destroyed all of this. Check this out. Quite possibly, quite possibly. I mean, there's enough evidence, in my opinion, that Tartaria was definitely a real place.
Yeah.
So let me park the car and roll the window down. So this lot right here has been completely leveled. I mean, they're slowly just picking apart all the old world stuff down here, yo. See that right there? Look at that. And then if you look over there on that building, you see that right there? That you can see that's been bricked over. I love that old Volkswagen over there. That thing's badass. I like old things. It seems to mean like old things were a lot cooler than the new stuff. Because the new stuff, quote unquote, isn't really new. It's just rebranded as new. Let's keep it moving, keep it moving. You can see there, guys, you can see there the windows. See, that's been bricked over right there. Yep, Lex, nothing new under the sun. Yep, there's usually tunnels. There's tunnels here. I know there's tunnels here. There's tunnels in Chicago, which is probably originally Shalaga. Just like Las Vegas, for example, was probably not originally Sin City, but I mean, I've seen some compelling evidence with some other truthers in the community that know it to be called the City of Light, actually, before it was called the city, Sin City in general. All right, all right, all right. So let's take a left. Whoop. HD 98.3. You know that pollen on my window already? They've completely taken down all the trees down the center of Broad Street. It's so ugly down here now.
Yeah. Put some concrete on it. We're good.
Yeah. You good, you good. Go ahead and cross. Go ahead and cross, ma'am. Moving along, moving along. Find a good parking spot. Yeah, I like to go behind the buildings too. A lot of times you can see where stuff has been. Look at that right there. You can see that used to be probably a window right there. It's a door there with some cameras set up. A lot of times down the alleyways, you can see the windows covered up like that one right there, kind of. See if we can find a parking spot and we'll get out again over here. Yeah, let's park right here, guys. Park the car. Look at that one. Established 1922. I knew they were going to try to find a reason to shut the live down. They're just mad I'm driving around. I just got a violation, man.
Oh man, see, when I go live, they hit me with a violation every 10 minutes.
Yep.
Every 10 minutes they violate me.
That's how you know you're on point, Snaff.
Haters be hating though, man. Haters be hating.
Haters be hating. Look at that. I wonder if that's the original with those lion heads.
Man, that's beautiful. Huh.
Yeah, look at this. Of course, they like to rebrandish these places as like banks
I
or
remember this spot,
coffee
Augusta,
shops.
where they patched over everything in the middle of the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the line, that was that main power line. That goes all the way to that, kind of all the way towards that building we were doing when we first started the live, Snaff.
Yeah.
You too, True. This building, constructed by Georgia Railroad Bank and Trust in 1924, was rehabilitated, right, sure, by Security Federal Bank during its 100th anniversary in 2022. Security Federal purchased the property from the Augusta Genealogical Society, which housed local ancestry records here for more than 2 decades. Upon restoration, there's that word restoration, the site became Security Federal Bank's 19 branch. When I hear restoration, I just think of destruction.
Yeah, refacing.
Mm-hmm. Old facade there.
Let's take this straight down the sidewalk. Yeah. Duh.
That one's kind of cool too, across the street there. It's called the Tuttle Building. Look at that one. The sacred geometry going on.
Toto. Mr. Toto.
Tuttle.
Yeah.
Tuttle.
The Toto.
The Tuttle Society. Yes.
Thank you for attending the Toto Society.
The Tuttle. What is going on this thing here? What the?
Oh, is that okay? Tattoo shop.
I think. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is tattoo shop. I was just like, hold on a second. What? I saw some weird.
We do forearm sleeves. Tattooing shit on me.
Trust your vibes. Energy never lies. Well, I will agree with that statement.
Yeah, I agree with it. I'm not gonna have it tattooed on me.
No, I definitely agree with that statement, though. That's a true statement. What is that? Is that an old? It's like an old box that came out of that brick right there. Yes. Very interesting. Very interesting. These platforms, it kind of reminds me of downtown New Orleans. The Event Bar. I have to check that place out sometime. Wow. Yeah, that's where I was looking at. I was in that parking lot over there, but you could see there was an entire set of buildings here they just completely took out. You see they chopped the tree down right there.
Assholes.
I know, man. It's crazy. I don't know. Like you can see right here, they chopped this one down too. Yeah, when I was a kid, this downtown Augusta, this street right here, all the way down Broad Street, focus my camera. This whole street here was nothing but trees going all the way down the center. It was so much more pretty, but now it's just like a barren wasteland almost.
I want to know what turd floater thought it would be a good idea to go down the middle of the sidewalk.
Right? There's another one. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Does not make
But,
any sense.
no, come on, man. I couldn't follow the curb line. If I followed the curb line, I could have done a great job there.
Right?
It needs to go over 10 millimeters here and 2 feet here.
Snap, look at that. See that?
Yeah, you can
See
see
that?
the field jobs.
It's really
No one will
weird.
ever know. No one will ever know.
And most people don't. That's the thing about it. Why does it matter, man?
Because you're walking around in a delusion, man.
I like how the AI summary is saying exploring abandoned buildings and discussing urban legends.
Get bent.
Urban legends.
Ooh, urban legend. The urban legend has flags, maps, and yeah, shut up.
Yeah, shut
AI.
up. Thanks for the unwarranted opinion, sir.
Yeah.
They just started doing that on these lives. I've noticed. You know, they didn't used to do that before.
Hey, AI. Do you have eyes? No, you don't.
Poor bird. Because of the Big Brother stuff watching me right now. Ooh, there's a coffee shop. Of course. Very berry latte. This is a fantastic morning to be doing a walk. It feels pristine outside. It's probably like 60, 65. That looks pretty damn old, Snap. Look at that. You can see the doorway. Look at that. Look at that right there. That doorway going to nowhere.
Gotta have stairs going up to a doorway coming out of the side of the building.
Yeah. So my dad, he met my mom in Germany back in the 80s, but he told me that there's a lot of buildings in Berlin and stuff that are like that, where they'll just have a door that will just fall off and go to nowhere. But I tie that into, I have that one video on my TikTok that's talking about the how Berlin originally used to look like a star fort. And there was a lady I did a house call for years ago, and she had that tapestry up in her house, and she must have been like 85 or 90 years old. But she told me, she was like, oh, that was Berlin, Germany 100 years ago. So she was basically saying that 100 years ago, Berlin was a giant star fort. Like, it doesn't look like that anymore because they're slowly scrubbing the history, as they always do. But I just thought it was fascinating, and it was more evidence of, you know, everything used to be like a giant, all the cities used to be like a giant star fort, basically, like the entire city. All right. We did a nice little circle around the block, and let's move on to the next block, park, and we'll get out and do the same thing again. Hopefully I don't get my live shut down. Snafty, is there any way you think when I get in the car, can I like pause the live so it doesn't get a violation while I'm driving? Because they're probably going to try to hit me with a violation as soon as I start driving.
So throw a green screen up.
Let's see. That's actually not a bad idea. Just put like a image up.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. We'll do it
Moving
real
around,
quick.
put up an image.
Background. There we go. All right.
There you go.
Let's see if that'll keep him off of us until I park again. Flatter Dave in the building? Is that the real Flatter Dave? I know there's a lot of bot accounts out there.
Very possible.
Well, if it's the real Flatter Dave, what's up to the legend? The real Flatter Dave. What's up, Dave? How you doing? Grand Rising, sir.
Yeah, what's up, Dave?
Just riding around downtown Augusta, Georgia, looking at some old world buildings, sir. We're gonna go bend a block real quick, get out of the car, and we'll look at some more stuff. See what we can see. Love your content, Dave. Been watching you for years. Yeah, if nobody's familiar with Flat Earth Dave, go check out his content on the geocentric model, which is our plane of existence that we stay on. He's roasting Globers constantly.
Yeah, he's got a cool ass app.
Oh yeah,
Flat Earth clock with all kinds of attached, just basic proofs that we don't live on a spinning space line.
absolutely. Really cool app, and it's got a lot of really cool links in the app as well that will reference a lot of the stuff that we're talking about in the live and other topics as well. And a lot of basic and major Glober questions that Globers like to talk about a lot of times that they try to use for their fallacious reasoning. But yeah, he breaks it down very well. All right. Let's go up a little bit more, sir. And we'll see what we can see. See some typo. Wow, that's a big fire truck. And did that fire truck have the double eagle on the side as a symbol? Wow. Of course. And we're going to pull up a little bit more. Pull up a little bit more. Get a parking spot. Yeah, I'm going to show you when I park over here. I'll show you this here in a second. Just bear with me a second, guys. I'm going to show you how there's underground tunnels underneath here as well. Boom, here we go. All right, back to the good stuff. All right, let me take the background off. Boom.
You violated?
No, I didn't actually. That saved me from the violation, so we're good. The good idea, Snaff. That
There
should
you
get it.
go.
That should be move around to different locations without getting the live shut down. All right, so check this out right here. If you look here off the edge of Broad Street, you can see where it goes down underneath grade right there. Dave, this is in Augusta, Georgia. Yes, sir. I know it's hard to tell where a lot of these places are at because they all look the same once you're, know what you're looking at. But yeah, look at that. You can see it goes down under the ground. There's windows right there. You see that? Look at that. That's a window frame.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's absolutely insane. If you come around the back side, you can see this old world building. They're rebrandishing it as apartments, Snap. I used to be able to go to the top of this thing about 10 or 15 years ago. Yeah, if you come around the back, you can see the old and new facade right there. Really good. As it goes up, look at that. Who doesn't need windows and drainage? Exactly.
Everybody wants to look out into the drainage.
Right. They've paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Exactly, Dave. I mean, that's exactly what they did. We had all the free energy we ever could have wanted, and they've given us this crappy cardboard cutout version. Yeah, I used to actually be able to go into the Lamar building here. They've completely locked it up. I remember I could go right there in the back of that door back in the day and go up to the top of this building. And you can see here on the side of this aesthetic, go down this alleyway. Look at that. Covered up. You can see that window used to be right there. Look at that. You can see that right there. Let's look up straight at the Lamar building here. And then guys, if you check this out, look at this right here. Look at this right here. Look down there. That's a wall that goes down about 10 or 15 feet underneath me right there. I've never even noticed that before, actually. But that goes down at least about 10 or 15 feet, showing that the grade is way lower than what they're saying this normal grade is. You got to have your big brother. Everybody wave. Everyone wave. There's also... That's an electrical system down there.
Man with camera, get your baton.
There's an electrical panel I can hear humming right down there below my feet. You see those? And look at that. Take that L, Globers. Yeah, I'm on top of the city, Lizzie. Exactly. Looks like something you see in like Gotham City. Look at that. And I think he's holding like the pine cone, which is representative of the third eye, the pineal gland, or the pine cone.
Yeah, that pine cone shit is wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know what's crazy is many times as I do these lives coming downtown Augusta and other places, I always find something I haven't noticed before. Never noticed that little guy right there, and never noticed that L. You can't catch it all. That's why I like to come back. And there's another one. Let's see if I can zoom in on that one. There's another one right there, another pine cone with the L.
Big L.
Appreciate it. Let's see.
What's the name of that building again?
This is the Lamar building.
Ah. What's that right there? The yellowish right there above the M. Yeah, what is that?
Those look like light fixtures, but I don't think they were probably originally just light fixtures. They were probably using some type of ethereal powering of some sort, if I was to guess.
Those are interesting.
Yeah, they really are. They're very ornate. Appreciate it, Chris. Dude, that is so cool, though, how you can see this. This is another one. Look at that. Look how far down that goes, guys. Look at that crap.
Appreciate you, Chris. That's deep as all get out. Look at that.
Bro.
All bricked in, too?
Yeah, that's insanity. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. That's wild.
I keep on walking over to the other one to see if I can see anything new. This one might even be deeper. There's another one. Those things way up there. Whoa. Hold on, Lizzie. What are you talking about on the ledge you were looking at? You talking about over here? We're talking about over here, Lizzie? By the lady with the cone? You talking about up here? Talking about that? Oh, by the head, by the head. That fish? probably all the way across the building. Let's see. What's up, Jeff? It's one of our Australian truthers in the building. Shout out to the land down under.
Under the window ledge.
Hold on, let me get around here because this tree is blocking my view.
The Imperial.
Yeah, we'll look at the Imperial here in a second. The face is knocked out. Look at that. The face is completely knocked out.
That's wild.
Hey, I'm with you on that, Dave. That's just normal jargon, but you are correct. It would be out over and not down under. You are correct, sir. I will agree with you there.
The over yonder.
The over yonder, yeah, it's over there, not down under, because that would insinuate that we're on a heliocentric ball. An impossible ball.
If you will.
Well, I cannot.
Being able to illuminate 6 continents on July 8th is impossible on a globe. That's interesting. That's wild.
I'm going to throw that one in my normal jargon, Dave. The land out over. Well, you know, they had us for the longest time, or not us, but they were, a lot of the controlled opposition and stuff was saying that, oh, so you're saying that Australia doesn't exist? We're like, huh?
No, it exists. It's over there.
Exactly.
It's out yonder.
Let's see if we can look inside through the window into the Imperial Theater here. There we go.
Peeking in the window. Damn, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
High emphasis on the ceilings.
Yeah, it's so those vaulted ceilings are just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it all had to do with power, you know, it's not an aesthetic thing at all. It's all has to do with energy.
What's the pattern above you there? Look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
That's cool.
Some of this stuff you can tell. I mean, I'm not even saying that like this specifically, but some of the stuff you can tell is like a shabby replication of the old world. You know, you can just tell it's not of the same quality. It's not lasting anywhere as long as the old world stuff. You know what I mean?
The detail in these buildings is wild.
You got some more interesting brickwork on this one. That one's crazy.
I like the pattern.
That's something that I was trying to remember the word of earlier. I think it's my lunch break. He talks about it, but you'll see like, not, I mean, I'm just going to try to explain it. When I see one, I'll show it to you. But when you see like an emblem, or it'll be like the area for an emblem, it'll it'll be blank, but it's basically indicative of some type of cartouche. I believe that's the correct terminology. And you see it in Egypt. It'll have like a story inside of the cartouche, but a lot of times you'll see it completely scrubbed from the aesthetic itself. Yeah, there's one right there. There's one right there. That's a cartouche. You see how it doesn't have anything on it?
Right.
That one doesn't have anything on it. It's probably been taken off or scrubbed. Exactly, empty. But if you look at old Egypt, they'll have a some type of story usually on the cartouche. There's another one right there. Probably was like a Tartarian griffin or something. I'm speculating, but it was definitely more than likely something there.
$735. Zero.
Yeah, that looks a little newer. Looks like they could possibly have done that.
Oh, wow.
The spiky lights are creepy. Yeah, those are like the ones I saw in New Orleans, actually. Let me walk back over here to them. I kind of did just walk by it. But I'm thinking they've been retrofitted out. But I don't think it was just originally electrical.
Yeah, that's wild.
Some other cool stuff on the other side of the road, too. Look at that one. It's like a big obelisk. That's crazy.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the deification of a lot of these generals and presidents is something worth doing a whole video on. And I've actually speculated that the original founding fathers were potentially not even human beings at all. The deification of George Washington begs the question, especially at the ceiling of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. If you look on the aesthetic of the ceiling of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., you'll see that he's deified in a way. It's not even just, oh, he was just a president. No. And if you look into the original founding fathers, apparently 33% of them, there's that 33, were all Freemasons. Look at that. See, that's been scrubbed too. There's that fachet. Snaff. Look. Look at that.
Oh, shit. Sure enough.
There's the fachet. That's something else that they show with George Washington and the original founding fathers too. They're usually holding the facets. What's up, son of Africa?
Yeah, I found it all the way back to the Roman days. They were carrying it on their shoulder.
The bundle of rods. Me and Snafu've talked about it for years.
It's been repurposed. The modern day name for this device is called the nuclear fuel supply.
Exactly. Those look like big Lego blocks, don't they, Snaff?
They do.
These columns are freaking massive, dude.
Yeah, and they're not as pretty as the others.
They could have actually came and used the base of whatever was here originally and then put this crap around it too. That's something else they could have done.
Very true. Very true. What lies behind the thin layer there?
Exactly. This is a perfect day for old world exploration, man. This is so nice outside.
Follow the black and yellow path. Follow the
Yeah.
black and yellow path.
Yeah, I think Shand was in that day. He's like, I want to see what's at the end of that damn path. Let's go on over here. Let's go over here. Never noticed that before, actually. Look at that old
Crest.
with the crown over the top of it.
Don't say it out loud.
Right. The old commerce building. Some of them it's harder to tell if they're old world or not. Some are a little bit more blatant.
Meh.
Nah.
Meh.
This is the Miller Theater. Let's see. Let's see what we can see.
I don't know. I would have followed the curb line with that shit. That would have been much easier to fix than ruining the whole damn sidewalk.
Right? It's funny that they just have that piano just sitting out in the open like that.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, I want to say I've been to Miller Theater before years and years ago. It's been so long.
That other one had a cooler ceiling though.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a much older building than this one, but I could be wrong.
Oh, I like that centerpiece though. That's cool.
What, this right here?
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I'm a monkey fucking a football. See the black and the yellow line? Yeah. We're gonna ruin the whole fucking sidewalk.
Yeah, no kidding. Some more stuff to destroy. That one looks pretty old, Snaff.
It does.
No more tree.
You see the green coming out the side? It said, "Give me a minute."
Life will find a way, in the words of Ian Malcolm. with my fake dinosaur movie.
Yeah, it looks like they refaced a bunch of it.
Yeah, it's definitely been refaced. You can just tell by how it's built. It's like old concrete. Dude, the cameras are what's creeping me out, man. Like, what the hell, bro?
The fuck? Vented?
Yeah, why?
Got fins on it? Maybe because I don't know.
So
That's weird.
weird.
What's that tile work? Middle
Yeah,
line?
yeah, it's cheap.
That's
Yeah,
a
right.
shit ton of tile.
Right, Chris. For those who don't have a cell phone, so we can make sure we keep tabs on all those people. Big Brother's watching.
Huh.
Another camera right there.
They love to watch to make sure that we're not watching them.
Exactly. Well, I mean, just go to I think it's flockcamera.com. You can see around your city where or wherever you're at where they have different flock cameras. And they use the owl symbol, of course.
Oh yeah, Moloch it. Moloch it.
This one's got a pretty old aesthetic on it.
Stack it like Lincoln logs.
Exactly.
Did he say Lincoln logs? What's a Lincoln log? Yeah, I'm old.
Yeah, most people have no idea what that is nowadays. I feel they'd be like, "What's that?" We get a good view of the Lamar building from this side, actually, of the road.
Yeah, when I was young, Lincoln logs were the shit.
Yeah, you kids don't even know. Or what a
Yeah,
Stretch
the
Armstrong
evil.
doll is.
Oh, Stretch Armstrong was a good one too. But see, I'm so old. I played with the Evil Knievel zip corded motorcycle. It had a
Oh, heck
platform
yeah.
and a zip cord. Zing! Evil Knievel, yeah. Look him up.
Evil Knievel and Robbie Knievel. His son. You used to be able to take an elevator all the way up there, though. I remember I went up there a couple times when I was younger. They're apparently going to refinish this entire place for apartments.
Wow. See, Chris understands. He had all those.
Yeah, you can see there where it goes under the ground, too. So this is the other side of the road.
Who's yelling? Is it coming from down there?
It's coming from behind me. Homeless people are arguing about something.
I looked down that hole, and then the yelling started. I was like, "Is it coming from underneath?"
Right? That would be so creepy. Chuckles, I'm in danger. Let's meander on over here to the Riverwalk area. Something else cool, Snaff. I think this is... Yep. That's glass, bro.
Oh, that's cool.
That is glass. And around a lot of cities, you'll actually see that glass showing that there's stuff underneath the grade. There's that. Down there too. Can I come up? Alchemistic Paladin? Sure. We'll drop you in. Come on down.
What's up, Snafu?
What's happening, brother?
So did I hear you correctly earlier? You said that you had done some like correlation videos with Final Fantasy 1 and 2.
Yes.
Dude, where can I find those?
So if you go to my YouTube channel, I'm gonna move the car real quick so I don't get the live shut down.
Give me just a second. I'm gonna grab a pen and paper. That's how serious I am. Because that sounds peak.
Oh yeah, brother.
And I realized the same kind of thing about Final Fantasy 7's when it really hit me. Whenever they started upping the graphics, I was like, wait a second.
Oh yeah. 7, definitely. I mean, all of them usually give a heliocentric spin. Typically they do. I've already done Final Fantasy 1 and 2. Obviously, the next in the series will be 3. But like I was saying to Snaff in the panel earlier in the live, I was saying that I can't wait to get to 6. Because 6, in my opinion, from what I've seen, really captures that, like I was saying, that medieval / futuristic aesthetic. You know, it's got steampunk, but you still have magic and castles involved. You know what I mean? But just let me know when you got your pen and paper. I'll tell you.
All right. Give me one more second here. Go ahead.
Okay, so the name of my YouTube channel is Ether Freak. So do you know how to spell ether with an A?
Yep.
So just Ether and then Freak. Freak.
All right. Ether Freak.
Yep, and it should be under a playlist actually. The I think if I remember correctly, it's how I know there's a Tartarian Final Fantasy Connection is the name of the series.
Okay.
But they're not like super long videos. I think the first one I did like 12 minutes. I think the second one I did like 15 or 16 minutes. I could literally go on for some of those videos for hours. Yeah, but it's so hard. I mean, I'm not kidding, man. I mean, I just don't have the time to like channels like Lucis Aurelian, and I don't know how, Restitute Orbis. I don't know if you know that guy. Like, it really put in perspective how much respect I have for those guys in terms of making videos, because I've spent an entire day for each one of those videos just to make them, 12 to 15, 16 minutes long. So that when those guys are making those hour-long videos, they live that shit. Like, they have to, because there's no way, at least for me personally, unless they're just that damn good, that they can do that without doing it all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I forgot I was muted.
But yeah, they're pretty good, man. Like I said, I use the word Tartaria when I'm talking about that stuff. I mean, in a way that, people have a reference point of what I'm talking about. I mean, it definitely has I like to, that's why I named my channel on, TikTok Old World, because, it's more of a point of reference, because I'm like Restitutor Orbis, and I think there's multiple possible resets going on. So it might not specifically be Tartarian, but there's definitely an old world connection,
I would like to agree. I would actually honestly like to get to the root of the tunneling systems, because I also believe in the I'm a mud flood believer, and I know a lot of people aren't, but I believe that there's a lot of this stuff that's just encased in dirt, for lack of better understanding in words.
Absolutely.
But I would like to do some digging down around like Ozarks, in between the Ozarks, like in Missouri, for real, because we've got a lot of caves here, and I think that some of those caves would definitely lead to like some tunneling systems, because there's no telling what you would find down there.
Absolutely. So I'll tie that in with a couple years ago when I was traveling. I was in Kentucky doing work, and I took it upon myself one weekend to go to Mammoth Caves. And the Mammoth Cave system is said to be the largest cave system in the world. There's like 400 miles worth of caves that's attached all the way to like Athens, Georgia. And you'll notice that there's this, Greek mythological connection with all these areas. They're named Sparta, Athens, etc. And then, of course, you have the Parthenon in Tennessee, for example. But I thought it was interesting. I watched this video. It was an AI video, but it was talking about this Smithsonian Institute group that basically went into Mammoth Cave and they encountered freaking Cyclops. Well, if you're familiar with Greek mythology, of course, the Cyclops it's in there. It's talked about. But I think what they're doing now is they're using these AI videos to talk about stories like that, to give soft disclosure of these real expeditions, like the one that I watched in that video, to kind of give the plausible deniability aspect. But they're telling you the truth about what really happened. But I thought it was interesting because I went into Mammoth Caves and I saw a lot of really cool stuff down there. But also when I watched that Cyclops video, this is where it got really deep for me, is there is actually a place in the caves, if I'm not mistaken, it's called like the Cyclops Passage inside of Mammoth Caves. And in the AI story, it said that the Smithsonian Institute were attacked by Cyclops. They found them down there, and then they had to blow up the cave entrance so that they couldn't get out or nobody could get back in. And if you look online, you can actually find a actual place in Mammoth Caves called the Cyclops Passage. So I think that shit is real, dude. Like, in my personal opinion, like 100%. Why would you call it Cyclops Passage?
I'm hella hip, man. Like, why would the Chinese zodiac include a dragon? And
Exactly.
it be the only fictional character out of all the other animals in their chart. It just don't make no sense. Why? Because you've got all kind of different cultures that actually refer to different. Even the Aztecs, right? Like, have you heard of Quetzalcoatl? Like, what do you think that was? That was a dragon, dude. I'm telling you, had to have been a dragon. Long, slender body. And like it had a feathered headdress and a feathered tail, whatever that's called, a feathered tail, I guess.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about, like.
Right, it's a feathered dragon, and I've watched some of Mud Fossil University talk about how Quetzalcoatl is actually where the Appalachian Mountains is. You can see the body of it, and it appears to be a giant feathered dragon or serpent. It's like it's Titanic proportions, though. And
okay, so
I think,
have you seen what is it, Roger Spur's work?
Yeah, I've heard of Roger Spur. Yeah, I've heard Roger.
He's like Mud Fossil University.
Yes,
like
yes,
I'm telling you, this
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, all right. So I don't think anybody's 100% like, I guess 100% not true, accurate. Okay. Not that they're being disingenuous, not that they're, it's just that I don't think that anyone completely 100% understands what the hell went on, you know. But I do think Roger Spur is very, very close to unlocking an entirely different take on our history.
Absolutely.
And he's done like great work with fossil research as far as like what our cells will transmute to under certain environmental temperatures and sediment deposits due to the mud flood, which is why we get certain structures that are found,
Iron.
such as like the devil's corkscrews, that can't be explained unless you look at it on a microcosmic spectrum, where it's like we're looking at our cells and like how our bodies build structures that it needs for certain things. It's like right now, if you anyone watching was to write that name down, you can watch that man explain away the devil's corkscrews as to what they truly are, which is sweat glands.
Yes.
Of an entirely larger biological entity. Not saying it's human, not saying it's a monkey or whatever. Regardless, I mean, even in the scriptures they teach, be careful not to become as the fumbling stones. Like you got to be careful, not to get caught up in what do we call that, semantics and other little things. Point blank period, they are identical to sweat glands that humans have in their body, and point blank period, there is no other natural formation of such things other than sweat glands that we know of that resembles it. But he's even done work with have you seen his work with the Yellowstone after it had that uptick in activity last year? And everybody was talking about the ground swelling again and how it was putting off heat in newer locations or older locations that had went dormant. He actually, it was around the time that they had stumbled upon a new, another magma pool that was underneath the surface, or a chamber. Whenever they started coming out with that chamber information, he actually pieced all that together, and he relates it to the thyroid and the esophagus area. And he goes on to explain that certain, like the lower pools were actually lungs, and that over time, if, things can like either decay, or he calls it upcaying because he don't know what else to call it, but things can actually have those added to it, not just taken away through decaying. They take away that, a charge? But through adding those to it, you can actually change the chemical bond that it is and make it a different element. And that's essentially what happened and created these sulfur pools that's underneath there.
Right.
Right. And he's talking about how, if you look at it through biology and what he understands of how fossilization and all these things happen over time due to decaying, upcaying, and was environmental circumstance, he literally, like, I think he would have so much more help if people didn't view him as insane, because he does get a lot of backlash.
Right. And he doesn't like anything flat earth related. That's where me and Roger kind of differ from, but the man is definitely on point with a lot of information. I love how he uses the periodic table of elements to describe the half-life decay of certain elements, and how that it makes so much sense in terms of how they've lied to us, the controllers, about how things actually decompose over a specific period of time, and the process of petrification in general has been a fabrication in the terms of it takes thousands or millions of years to turn something into stone, if you will. I think the process is much shorter. And I think he shows a lot of compelling evidence when he'll show like a freaking statue that will have its leg broken off and there'll be a bone inside of it or something. And I'm like, what the hell? Because first of all, if you're
You
saying
can't carve multiple layers of the same stone.
No. And then it'll have a layer of rust, which is indicative of, like I was saying, like, me and you were talking about with the different metals and how over time they naturally it will oxidize. Exactly. So there's that rust element to it. And then it goes into me and Snafu's conversations over the years about the potential use of the facets themselves, maybe some type of other weapon. We're speculating that it's the facet, but there's some type of either gorgonic thing going on there, or maybe some type of ethereal weapon that could literally petrify people in place, but yeah, Roger's definitely on point with a lot of things.
I believe that's what the Medusa was. And have you seen, there's an anime called Dr. Stone. Very interesting take on an anime, considering that it was a green flash of light. All right, and now since I've watched that and started putting things together with the Mud Fossil University and all this that I've been watching, I've started to lead towards the fact that it was definitely some form of light that had caused this rearrangement of the particles that caused instant petrification. And I believe that's what the Medusa was whenever they spoke about it.
During the Lahaina incident and the blue roof, it didn't affect anything that was blue. And there was a lot of speculation saying there was some type of device that was creating that blue instance that caused that damage. There was an offset interview with a gentleman who found a petrified frog that was in mid-leap right after that incident.
Right. How is something petrified in mid-leap?
Just saying. I found that very interesting.
Based on the way our eyes work, like the surface of something. So like when you look at a red apple, you see red because it actually is every color but red. So it absorbs every light wave but red. So when it reflects red back, you see red and you're like, that's a red apple. So based on the blue buildings being left, I think it would be safe to say that they were attacking using a blue spectrum. And the only way that it didn't hurt that building is because it was completely canceling it out.
Yeah, there's a experiment. It's even on my page. A gentleman took a laser. He took different colored fabrics and laid them out. Took that laser. I think it was it blue? I think it was blue, and it was intense enough to damage all the colors, but it did not affect the blue color.
Right, because it won't be able to enact with it because the color blue itself.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say if you paint anything the same color as our sky, you'll be all right. Because it's the only thing they haven't managed to destroy yet.
Oh, they're working on it with the sky hugs. The airplanes, they drop it out and it hugs us because they love us.
Absolutely. Guys, look at this right here. If you see on Riverwalk, let me step down here. Look at this. You can see the elevation it's showing of the flooding itself. If you look back, so that's where I was at down the strip, downtown Augusta. It goes down that way, right? There's the Lamar building we were standing in front of, right? And if you go straight down that way, you can get to it, but it's showing the flood levels right there. Talk about mud floods.
Overall, though, I will say I have been enjoying your live today, my man, and I appreciate you letting me come up here and ask you a couple questions. I will be looking into your YouTube channel, but I guess I'll go ahead and drop down and just keep spectating.
Absolutely, brother. Always a pleasure, Alchemist.
Alrighty. Yep. Same.
Wow. I mean, look at that, Snap. Look how deep that water level is back then, man. Keep it moving here. Like I was showing here earlier, you could see the flooding goes way back downtown Broad Street right there. Check out that what are those old toys they used to have? Those that mustache with the glasses. Check out that.
I don't think that's the mustache. I think he's the model for that.
That's what I'm saying, Snafu. That is hilarious, dude. These guys look real trustworthy, don't
He
they?
got a little hister. He got a little hister stash going on there.
Yeah, the Gonzo. Exactly. He's got the Gonzo stash going on. That's what it's called. Of course, we have to throw the millions of years ago, the crust of the earth buckled to the pressure of molten rock. You got to throw out these hellacious numbers to really throw people off. Hellacious, fallacious numbers. There's actually like a little flat earth kind of clock thing up here. I'll walk up a little further. I like the way they depict the Indians, right? Fort Moore. There's the Moore connection, the Moorish people, right? Tell me more. Of course, there's the old Powder Works building we were at earlier. And of course, they're going to overlay the industrial heritage, like these were just industrial buildings that were formed during the Industrial Revolution. But if you know, like My Lunch Break talks about all the time, and Lucius Aurelian and other people in the community, they talk about how that, that is a blanket narrative to cover up a lot of things. I mean, of course, there was fires happening simultaneously across the earth, you know, all at once. That's just normal, and they're happening back to back. And then when you look into the names of these people that are claiming these things, they'll have that Masonic Mason, or there'll be son at the end of it, or they'll use the same names over and over again, and or they'll say the entire city burned down, brick, wood, and all from a pigeon picking up a cigarette butt. I mean, when you look into these narratives, they're just absolutely ridiculous.
A horse kicked over a lantern.
Yeah, exactly, Snaff. And then it burned down the whole city, brick and all. I didn't know that fire can burn through stone. Good old Riverwalk. Good old Riverwalk. That looks like a pretty old building right there, too. So cool. Yeah, check this out right here. An analematic sundial for Eastern Daylight Time.
Well, looky.
We
got a cookie.
Analematic
Sundial.
Analematic sundial for
So
Eastern.
if you set a camera where those footprints are, and you did time lapse of the whole year, it would show you the shadowing right there. You would see the analemma in the shadow right there in those months.
Exactly. So we're in March. So if I stood here, we'd be able to see with the sun where it would be at. But this would only work on a geostationary model. Nuh-uh, man. Nuh-uh. This is so cool. Right in front of our face now. And then the solstice, of course.
1, 2, 3. Is it a full circle?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, it's okay.
Then it comes back around. 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's 10 based on the analemma. So
for Eastern. Look, it's not about Eastern Daylight Time. Come on, it's for the observer. That's why there's footprints. Don't try that shit.
Right. You know, the cop-out thing that they go with the heliocentric model is they like to say that, you know, oh, you don't see the stars change because we're the space is so vast, man, that you're not able to, you know, you if you're there, you know, a couple million years from now, you know, it'll all be changed. Well, who's going to be there to verify that? Look at that. The Great Fire of 1916, what I was talking about, that my lunch break talks about all the time. I'm actually going to screenshot that one. But if you look at these pictures, dude, this does not look like a fire. It looks like a bomb went off or something, man.
Yeah.
There's that obelisk we were looking at earlier. Absolutely, it's BS fire. What kind of fire burns through freaking stone and whatnot? I mean, this looks like post-World War II destruction.
They figured it all out, man. They had to tell us something.
Absolutely. Look at those whitewashed skies there.
The majority of the people accept the narrative presented. Why would they lie? Because that's what liars do.
Exactly. It left flames engulfed the Empire Life and Chronicle buildings above. Right, a view from the levee soon after the fire. Right, St. Paul's Church, considered by many to be the greatest sentimental loss sustained by the city. Right. Ooh, I smell.
I didn't know that either, Leon. I didn't know they did the analematic sundials either. That's a great find. I'm gonna have to give me an image of that.
Hold on, I'm gonna go back over to it, Snafu, so you can get a picture of it, man. How you doing, brother?
I'll grab me a screenshot.
Get a screenshot of that. Let me step back a little bit. Ooh, somebody smoking that gas.
Hey, don't rat me out like that.
Ooh, it's coming through the phone, Snap. You want to get a picture of that?
Yeah, I did.
All right, cool. I'm going to actually get a screenshot of that myself. Hold on real quick.
I'm gonna search and see if I can find an overhead view. Analematic. I gotta say that over and over.
You know,
Analematic.
it kind of looks like an eyeball almost, like a reptilian eye. For Eastern, yeah, I saw this a couple weeks ago with my wife, and we were walking down through here, and I thought it was very interesting that they actually had the Cuevos to put this out here.
So
Let's walk down a little bit more. Oh, it smells so good.
It's yummy.
Oh, it smells so good.
So for my birthday, my adopted son, pretty much, bought me a electronic bubbler.
Oh, I love that. Those things are so cool.
I don't even have. Yeah, I put it in there, fire it up, hit the trigger. It does the draw. Pull the carb, hit the trigger, and it does the disbursement. I'm like, damn, I love it. I ain't got to do shit except to hit a button.
Mm-hmm. Just clean it out occasionally.
Yeah. Made it too easy, man. Too easy.
Oh yeah, my buddy Ray used to have one, and he would had a little hose on it. Actually, the little hose attachment. Man, he'd get a crazy hit off those things.
Yeah, I dig that analematic sundial. That's fucking cool.
Hold on, guys.
Here, hold my lung. Exactly. The electric slide for the sun and moon. All those wonderful references. Time for another rip. Shand. TV. What's up, Shandy? Yeah, you see, in his town there was an animaletic. Yeah, look at this. It's the animaletic, right? Analematic.
Analematic sundial.
You gotta keep saying that, man. That's one of those words.
Analematic. With the analemma, the infinity sign. Kind of looks like a certain set of towers that I've heard about.
Leon? The analematic.
Analematic. It's crazy.
Somebody got me when I was doing a live about the analemma. Dude goes, so who's this anal Emma? I was like, oh, you got me with that one. Shit.
This anal Emma guy, man.
Because, yeah, you spell it out. That's what it says.
Oh, that is hilarious. So it's interesting that we're on Riverwatch. We've seen the fire narrative that they've pushed. the industrial narrative they've pushed with this. And then they actually give us a gauge for the flood or mud flood water levels up here. And I'm just imagining, you know, we're on Riverwalk here. You have the river, you have the walk itself, and then you have the city, you have downtown. And you think about those water levels, if they were as high as they're talking about, dude, that is, I mean, look at this. Look at this hill I'm on right here, y'all. I'm up on the Riverwalk. You see how it goes down. It was right here at the top of this hill going all the way across the city. So you could just imagine the destruction. It's ridiculous. Of course, you have the Indians they've talked about there.
Some narratives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They have to keep it going. Keep the lies going.
You walking. Investigate flat Earth.
You there, sir. And while you're on your jog, why don't you look at the ground and check out the analematic sundial?
You jogging. Look into flat Earth.
And ignore the millions of years ago crust narrative.
Well, isn't that special? You were there a million years ago.
You were there a million years ago.
Told you. Thanks for the stories. What's the marks on this?
Get another.
What are all the marks? Somebody jacked shit up?
I don't know if some homeless dude came over and started picking away at it or what, but that is so weird though. It's on a couple of them. You have your Gonzo character. So, man. Let me get a screenshot of this one too. The floods. The mud floods. To make a nice slide later for the channel. I know it was supposed to rain today, but it was really pretty this morning. It's starting to get a little overcast out.
Analematic.
Levy.
One more time for good measure.
Analematic.
Snowing in Iowa. Shan out creeping this morning.
I know. Shan's always looking for the ladies.
Ladies.
See, there's more to Augusta, Georgia than just James Brown, apparently.
Yeah, this is my first attempt at going live again since my favorite device took a shit. I dropped it one too many times.
Yeah, I hate it. It happens sometimes. The founding of Augusta, right? They found it.
Look what we found.
Look what we found. A whole lot of old world architecture, man. You know, we're just known for just hunting and our country accents. You know, that's all we're known for.
Founded it, bro. We founded it.
Actually, I'm born and raised in Augusta, but typically when I talk to people, they're like, "Are you from upstate?" Because I don't really, unless I get around to like a lot of country people, it might start to come out a little bit. But people are like, "You really don't have an accent, man."
What y'all talking about?
What y'all talking about, man? What you mean about them mud floods, man? That animalactic sundial.
The animalactic?
Animalactic, phylactic, enema.
Animalactic shock is what you got.
Got that enema? Mm-hmm.
This world needs an enema. It's happened once before. It's coming again.
So I really wish this up here was still going. So this whole building right here, it's apartment complexes, if I'm not mistaken. This one is. But this building here, when I was younger in the 90s, early 2000s, it was Fort Discovery. They had a Tesla coil inside of it. They had a lot of other cool stuff, but this ball up here, I wish it was still going, but it's not. It was a spinning ball. I'll show it to you in a second. But it was a fountain with water coming off of it, and it was the perfect example how water can't stick to a ball, and it always finds and maintains its level. Of course, they shut it down because I'm sure there would just be too many lives out here, people being like, see? So yeah, let's walk up to it. Yeah, this ball right here used to be spinning. Uh-oh, you hear the bells? Yeah. This thing used
the ball can be wet, but it cannot hold vast amounts of water.
No.
Sorry for your bad luck. Okay, now let's cut out some divots and see if we can get it to hold water.
Uh-huh. See if we can hear the bells ringing to keep the shape-shifting reptilians at bay. Such a lovely noise. Can you see them, guys? Can you hear the bells?
Bell tolls, time marches on.
Oh man, I wanted to get around there before they stopped ringing, but too late.
Nice t-shirt.
Thank you, brother. Who doesn't like Dragon Ball Z? Come on, man. These children will never know what they missed on Toonami back in the day.
Earth's flat. Earth's flat. Check out the flat Earth.
Earth's flat? What? You don't say, mate. More than likely. More than likely.
They got a speaker up there. They just pre-recorded.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they might have I don't think they're like swinging and ringing. I think they're maybe being hit by something, but they're stationary. I could be wrong though. I don't know. I have to ask somebody. This is a view of Augusta in 1872, and of course they give us a drawing, right?
An artist rendering.
Artist rendering.
Okay, so 1872. How did you get up high enough to give us that rendering?
Thank you, Snafu. I mean, that's just basic logic and reasoning right there. Exactly.
See, that sends you down other rabbit holes.
Mm-hmm. Just believe my word, though, man. Just believe me.
Trust me, bro. Pay no attention to the snake tongue going through my logo here at NASA.
No.
Trust me. Kilgore, yes, hot air balloons and zeppelins and airships. You know, yeah.
These old grave sites.
But they taught us in school we didn't take control of the air until the airplane. You know, classic deviation. You don't think so? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you don't know nothing, Kilgore.
Airplane.
Yeah, in the 1800s, they were highly utilizing airships, my friend.
Airplane. Plane of existence. Kansas Club of Augusta Centennial.
So Kilgore, 1900, huh? So you know a lot about the 1900s. So you know about the incubator babies and the orphan trains and the Cabbage Patch Kid, right? You know what that is, right? Yeah, that's you believe the 1900 was the first Zeppelin fight, possibly a Zeppelin. Airships were around way longer than that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, a blimp and an airship are two completely different things.
Yeah, blimp, Zeppelin, airship. Yeah, there was books in 1900. There was books called Airships and Flat Earth. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Like I said, I like to talk about that on the Final Fantasy videos I've talked about with airships, is how they actually look like literal ships. Of course, with that steampunk aesthetic attached to it as well.
Yeah, you're very uninformed. No, don't bring him up. You have no explanations. I've seen your conversations. You believe what they told you, and that's about it. Good job, though. You didn't self-investigate anything. You just regurgitate what others have done and said. You don't look for yourself. Yeah. Get in conversation.
St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Yes, yes. The National Register of Historic Places. Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah. Water finds its slope. I love slopey water. It's beautiful.
Hilarious. Quite amusing. Woo.
With things like that, you have to ask them, does your nose squeak when you squeeze it?
I don't know what that used to be. That thing's all left in shovels.
Let's leave that as evidence of the fire
Yeah, you can
Modern
see.
bridges.
A lot of old buildings back there too. Yeah, if you want to see the in this city and then other bigger cities, of course, if you want to see that old to new comparison, just go behind the building.
Georgia, right?
Yeah,
Georgia.
Georgia, sir. Let's go back this way. Let us return to the opposite side of the church.
You're in Augusta?
Yeah.
Hey,
I
there
am.
you go, Nick.
Augusta, Georgia. Excuse me.
Okay, so the other day, a buddy and we went to Fort Scott, Kansas, and they've got even red brick in the like just right there.
Oh yeah.
And it's everywhere in Fort Scott, Kansas. Well, we ended up going to a Scottish Rite temple, and this guy gave us a tour, and it was so bad, like evil heads. It had an old organ. It was a 500-person theater. It was so bad. I mean, cool,
yeah.
but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. No, I know what you mean. I've been to Kansas a couple years ago, and I went to Topeka.
Okay.
And I did a walkthrough of downtown Topeka, and I went to one of the Scottish Rite areas. And actually, I went into a Masonic temple, and there was a gatekeeper Mason there to give me the lowdown on the history of the city, etc. And I told him I'm good because I could just already tell he was about to give me some mainstream drivel.
Right.
So I was like, no, thank you, sir. I don't want you to waste my time. I will handle this on my own. And yeah, Topeka, Kansas, dude, it's got underground everything just like everywhere else. It's all over the place, you know.
It is.
People just think it's even. I was driving to Batesburg, South Carolina yesterday, and on the way to Batesburg, I was just going to Walmart to get something. I went through this small town on the way there, and even the small town was indicative of mud flooding. So even your places that don't, you know, that aren't on the map in terms of like, it's just a small town. There's no way there'd be Tartarian stuff here too. You know, it's don't throw it into the trash immediately. You know what I mean? Because it was everywhere, man. It was the mainstream cities. It was the sub cities. It was the little towns. It was everywhere.
I took some videos of Carthage, Missouri, where apparently Bonnie and Clyde used to hide out back in the day. And there's a castle in Carthage, the square. And yeah, some of the buildings you can tell, like, nobody builds into the dirt. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, something interesting, Nick, that I had to bring up, I was already bringing up in the panel earlier, you're talking about, it was called Carthage, Missouri, right? So let's think about that in conjunction with what I theorize, or in my personal opinion, think that the world of Greece itself was actually over here, because they've switched all the locations to throw everyone off. The Greece in Europe is probably not the accurate original location. It actually was here in the Americas. So that's why you have Rome, Georgia. You have Athens, Georgia. You have Carthage, Missouri. You know what I mean? You have all these locations, and it's kind of like rubbing it in your face, if you will. But they're like, oh, they're naming it after the Greece in Europe. No, it's more like this was the original place or location of Greek mythology, if you will, or where all the legends come from.
Isn't there an Egypt, Tennessee?
If I'm not mistaken, yes. And I've went to downtown Nashville, and like I was saying earlier in the panel too, and went to the Parthenon, and they say that it's a replica of the Parthenon, but I think it's actually the original. You know, it's not a replica at all. And they have a giant, I think it's on my YouTube channel as well, Ether Freak, but it's other people have done videos on it as well, but there's a giant like Athena statue inside of it, and she's holding she's holding a giant 6-foot Nike angel in her hand, and then her shield is like 20 feet tall, and it literally has the Clash of the Titans on the shield itself, on the front and on the back, and she has a giant Medusa coming out of her chest, and then there's a giant Medusa on the shield itself. And I think they still have rituals in there to this day when, you know, the lights all go out and all the tourists go home. But you can actually go underground the building there. There's it's in the World's Fair picture for Nashville. You can look at it. There was a pyramid that was directly to the right of it. They've gotten rid of a lot of that. But the Parthenon remains because I really think it's the original Parthenon, in my opinion.
Yeah, see, and I've been to Sedona. And it looks like Meltology in Sedona, 100%.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you another place is Kansas City, Missouri.
Yes.
If you look, and when I was there doing work in the Union years ago, I remember looking up I was kind of a few miles outside of the city, but I could see the entirety of the city. And the way the city is kind of built, it's up on like a mountain almost, or just a giant hill. And it just it looks indicative like it was destroyed and it kind of melted outward, if you will, you know, if you're looking at it from that lens. And I just thought it was absolutely fascinating because cities like that, cities like Atlanta, which Atlanta was nicknamed Hot Atlanta. And right. I was always calling Atlanta Hot Atlanta because it gets hot there, right, in Georgia, because Atlanta's only an hour and a half away from Augusta, where I was born and raised. So growing up, we always call it Hot Atlanta because it gets hot in Georgia. Well, as I've done my mud flood, Great Fire, reset research over the years, I've discovered that Atlanta has allegedly burned down like 3 times at least. And I don't think the nickname comes from it being literally hot from the sun. I'm under the inclination that it's called Hot Atlanta because it's burned down so many damn times, you know, so it's fascinating.
That's why they got the CDC there, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I'm born and raised from Denver. And the Capitol building, there's 2 of them, right? They've got one in Pueblo, and then in Denver they have the Capitol building, and then they have another like courthouse building. Well, in between them is Civic Center Park, and you could tell that like it was like a Roman style park. Like it's if you ever go to Denver, you're gonna love that because it's just all old world. I know for a fact there's tunnels under there because I've walked them. And they even have a cathedral there. It is so bad in Denver. So bad. I mean, you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. I've been to Denver once in 2012. I went snowboarding there with one of my dad's ex-girlfriends, and we stayed there for a while. And, of course, I was extremely sleepy back then.
Yeah.
And I was only like 19 or 20 at the time, so I wasn't even anywhere near on the level I am. I've always been into conspiracy theories. You know, my first journey into these things was really into the Illuminati and music symbolism and music videos. You know, back in 2009, 2010, when I was still like 17 or 18, I was like, why is Rihanna shaping her body to be looking like a Baphomet and stuff, you know? And that was when I was, you know, slowly starting to wake up. But yeah, Denver, all of the old world cities, or not all the old world cities, but all of the major cities are old world cities. I mean, it's right in front of your face.
That's funny that you say that because even the Hudson River, right? There's stone stairs going down to the Hudson River. Like what for? And then Olympia, Washington, it has a port, you know, so you could just park your boat there or dock your boat there. And the building is just so huge. That's a big complex too. And it's built on water. Or, you know, I'm assuming that's how they used to travel and, you know, dock to these buildings was on rivers.
Right. And I mean, there's even evidence that, like I said, that these airships and ships in general on the water, where there's actually evidence that there were entire city ships, if you will. Like there was a actual city on the ship. I mean, if you look at old Phoenician artwork and stuff, is indicative of, like how the old world aesthetic buildings look with the columns and stuff, like buildings of that stature on the water that were mobile, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, absolute. The implications are fascinating. And of course that ties into, castles in the sky, which is always shown once again in a lot of video games, the Final Fantasy series once again. And they're always floating using nothing. But I think that they're telling you in those games, in the entertainment realm, they're telling you that, yeah, those cities were being harnessed by the ether to essentially levitate them off the ground. And what a great way to defend the city from a ground attack, but to float it up hundreds of feet into the air. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, and see, I'm wondering at what they did or where they docked, because you can't, well, I don't know. I've never seen blimps in Denver, right, because it's so high. So I'm wondering how they used to travel up to Denver. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I'll tell you one thing is they've definitely, Elon Musk, for example, he's pushing this new transatlantic railroad idea. Well, I think what they're doing is what they always do is they take the old and they rebrandish it like it's new.
Right.
These transatlantic railroad systems that are connected all throughout the realm, the earth itself, under the earth, they're repurposing them like they created this new high-tech way of traveling when that infrastructure has been there the whole time. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
They're acting like they invented it. They didn't invent anything. They are rebrandishing the old ways of things.
No, absolutely right. And it's amazing that I wish I would have known about these old world when I started waking up about 10 years ago. I would have had so much more. But dude, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Oh, that's the thing. Salem, Oregon, they tore down their old Capitol building and it's a new one. And they've got a big golden statue on the top of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, I came back over to where I started the live at. I'm about to show you some really cool stuff real quick. Hold on. So check this out. I know some people have joined the live since I started it, but check out this old building right here.
What? That's a castle. What? And this is in Augusta?
Yes, look at that.
Oh, man. You mind if I record this? Screen it?
Absolutely. I actually, if you miss it, I've already done several videos here over the on my channel. So if you miss anything, it should be there. But we're gonna do a walkthrough of it. Just give me 2 seconds. Hold on.
Oh, they've even got spheres on the top of it. That must have been mercury in there.
Yeah, probably red mercury or a combination of regular mercury and red mercury or something along those lines. But yeah, that's actually in Latin right there. It's been translated on the video. We'll do a walk around of it. But yeah, that's a Tartarian griffin.
I'll send you the photo I took of the building. It's got the 2-headed griffin on it, dude. It's creepy, but cool. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, creepy stuff can be cool.
Right.
But if you look, you got your Tartarian griffin. You have your faceless knight, or knight, if you will. And then on the top, like I was telling Snaff earlier, when he was still in the panel, I'm under the inclination that's either a phoenix, maybe representing a reset, or the phoenix rising from the ashes, or
okay,
or it also could be indicative of the Rosicrucian pelican. And the Rosicrucian pelican, you can research, is injuring itself purposefully to feed its own young. And of course, it's the symbol for the state of Louisiana. And when I was in New Orleans years ago doing an old world exploration of downtown New Orleans, I could see the Rosicrucian pelican literally in the brickwork. It's on the flags. It's everywhere. And if you know about secret societies and the Rosicrucians, I just thought it was a fascinating thing to just notice it as I was looking at this, because this is where I was discovering all this about 3 years ago. And yeah, man, it's crazy. So yeah, that symbol itself, though, I don't know. It could be a phoenix. It could be the Rosicrucian pelican. I'm not exactly sure.
I get it. Of course they put it like, oh, we found this, we built this. No, you didn't.
crazy.
I cannot believe that building is still standing.
Well, if you look, this is the tower we're standing at right here, right?
Right.
This chimney, and they say that all the gunpowder in the Civil War was basically coming out of this chimney from the production or whatever, you know, the excess that was coming off of it. But I just think it's just a blanket narrative just to cover up the actual history of this building, as they always do with everything. And I think here in this picture you can actually see how they really destroyed this entire thing that was standing around this chimney, if you will. Yeah, I think it's a freaking castle, bro. I mean, think about it. That's a river, right?
Right.
You see that right there? That's a river. This is a moat, homie. You know, I don't know. I'm not a castleologist, but I've seen enough medieval movies and done enough history searching to notice that, yeah, this is a castle.
Yeah, 100%. They used to live lavishly back then.
Absolutely. Everything was free energy.
Right. Right.
You can see this right here, too. There's another one.
Your screen is kind of dark, just so you know.
Yeah, it's getting a little really good this morning, but it's kind of overcast, and I think it's affecting my screen filter. Hold on. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Wow, that is... Wow. What? That is so amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the Eastern Stars or whatever those, you know?
Yeah, I think they're ether resonators. I think they actually had a functionality to them in terms of harvesting energy.
I'll agree.
I don't think it was just aesthetic. And I've also shown on this video here, there's of course this mini building here as I walk around. But you can actually see right here, it goes underneath the ground.
Wow.
You can see there's tunnels and stuff, I'm sure, that go all through the city, probably underneath this castle in and of itself. This place is giant, man.
Yeah, of course. If it's that big, of course it has dungeons, tunnels. It has it all.
Straight up World of Warcraft, Oblivion, Dark Souls stuff going on here.
Yeah. Are those buildings over there the same?
So those buildings have been retrofitted out as apartments. They've done that a lot or throughout the Augusta, South Carolina, Aiken area. They have some over in Aiken. They've done the same things too. You can see that chimney stack right there. But like I said, I think a lot of this stuff is just blanket narratives with the chimney stuff. I don't think it has anything to do with the Industrial Revolution of the early 1900s whatsoever.
Oh, no.
I think the Industrial Revolution was used as a way to cover up the old world, new world conflict, which I actually think that the Civil War is a fabrication of the narrative, and that it really was quite literally and figuratively the old world versus the new world order. That's what the Civil War was. It wasn't a Union versus Confederacy idea.
That makes sense. I never heard of that. I never even thought about that theory, but that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. You had the old world fighting against the new world order, because that's why all the insane asylums and stuff were popping up, because they were throwing the people they were like, this is a lie. They're trying to cover up our history. You're going to the insane asylum.
Yeah.
For re-education and lobotomies and all kinds of other diabolical stuff. You had population resets. You had incubator baby stuff going on, the Cabbage Patch Kids, all that crazy stuff. Orphan trains.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you can tell some of these old world buildings, the stairs, like those look normal, but some of them have stairs going up to a building or open to a door, and those weren't there before because there's more down, under the earth.
Absolutely, Nick. I'll finish the live after I'm gonna leave here in a little bit. Let everybody get their fill for a second of the front. This is pretty much all I can visit. There's people actually working inside of the building, so I can't go inside. People are always like, "Just go inside." I'm like, "Yeah, do you want me to ever do these lives ever again?"
Right. Right.
It's because there actually is people working in them, and they are normies, so they will call the police. And I will show you the Sacred Heart Church, and that's probably where I'll finish the live at. I went there a little bit earlier, but we'll finish it off there, and I'll show you some just aesthetic stuff from the outside of that building. I'll show you how the church we'll go to in a little bit has the Jesuit symbol on it, and we'll finish the live up there. But yeah, I definitely wanted to come back and visit this one more time before my wife is like, "Where the hell are you?" I thought we were hanging out today.
No, I get it, brother. Thanks for showing this. I'm glad I came upon this.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you coming in the panel, brother. So yeah, she hears this all the time. So she loves it too. She just hears it all the time. So she just like, can we talk about something else?
No, I can't be normal anymore. I've got to be this.
I know. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Oh man, what was that building purposed for, man? It just looks like Matt, like a Richie Rich, you know? Richie Rich would have lived there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does take my inner explorer. I kind of have to restrain myself from literally just running up in there. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'd be trying to run up in there too.
Yeah, when I first came over here though, and I saw that Tartarian griffin a while back, dude, my jaw just dropped.
Yeah, I bet. Mine did, and I see it on video. It's like, how did they build that so symmetrical and perfect?
Exactly. No design flaws.
Right.
You can see, look at that, actually, where the bricks busting out. That's a new facade that they've put on that.
Yeah. And right there, perfect example from old world to new world. Just garbage.
Absolutely.
Normies, you mean sleepwalkers? Yeah, we mean sleepwalkers. That's funny.
Right. Well, it's funny how we're actually the normies.
Right.
But we're considered the schizos. And it's funny how there's actually a guy I follow on YouTube. His name of his channel is Hyperborean Knowledge. He's pretty hilarious, actually. He's got a very funny way of talking about things, and I agree with a lot of what he talks about. But he does a lot of videos on the dichotomy or paradigm of the schizo, which would be us. Well, we're not schizo, but you get what I'm saying. The schizo versus the normie versus the psychopath, which were being controlled by parasitic psychopaths, if you will, and the psychopath takes advantage of the normie's ignorance, and we're going against the psychopaths when the normies are going against us because they consider us schizos. And I just think it's funny how it's like a violent cycle or circle, if you will.
I'm wondering if they had a lot of stained glass where all those bricks are closing all those windows off.
Right, like all this. I was talking about that earlier. They're all bricked over.
Yeah, all of them are like that. Even the ones in Fort Scott, the ones in Carthage, they're all like that.
Exactly. Go inside. Yeah, go inside and don't come home or don't come back out ever again.
Right? Yeah. No, you have to go with at least 3 or 4 people just to be, if you do go inside,
You know what, Nick? I think you just answered your own question, brother. Look.
Wow.
Window, brick.
Yeah.
Window, brick.
Huh.
I don't know if everybody's got their fill of that right there. We're about to jump back in the car and we're about to meander on back down the street to the Sacred Heart Church before it starts raining. We're getting some rain droppage.
Yeah. Run down to that church, man. Wow, that's amazing.
All right, let's throw something up on the screen. The right calls me liberal, the left calls me conservative. You have no power here. Moving along.
Yeah, if we can get everybody that's thinking like us in their own town. I mean, you're right. It's everywhere. It is everywhere.
Absolutely.
Even in, I got a friend in Germany. She was showing me some buildings that are covered, and they shouldn't be covered.
Okay, so Nick, when you get a chance, when the live ends here in a little while, go to my channel, and I have a video. I was talking about this in the panel earlier too. I have a video of a lady I did a house call for a couple years back, and she had a tapestry painting inside of her house. She was probably like 80 to 90 years old, from Germany. And as soon as I stepped in the house, I noticed the old world aesthetic, the star fort in the tapestry. And I said, where is that at? And she said, oh, old German lady. She said, oh, that is Berlin, Germany, 100 years ago. And my jaw dropped, because it's literally showing the entirety of Berlin is a star fort, yo. The entire thing. And it's on the channel. I took a picture of it. It goes to slide.
Gosh.
And it has the double-headed eagle on the actual tapestry, and I zoom in a couple shots in that panel. But also, I took a couple pictures of post-World War II, which I think the world wars, I know a lot of the reasons for the world wars, other than giant blood sacrifices, is it's a way to get away with destroying old world infrastructure. And you can actually see, like, right after World War II, they have this giant sign up with a giant hammer, and if I'm not mistaken, the Masonic square, and they're mocking you to your face, that yes, we are redesigning the narrative. We are crafting the narrative. That is another, task of Masons, is not only, shaping, or taking control of these old world buildings, but they're also crafting the narrative, if you will, of these locations. So yeah, check that out when the live ends. It's really cool.
I will. I want to see if we can get somebody to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, because that building should have fell over. It should have cracked, and it's not.
And something else with the Leaning Tower of Pisa is, I think that sucker goes way, way, way further underneath the ground, which makes sense that it would, and that's actually why it's not falling over, because it has a strong base. Just like, for example, take a stick and put it shallowly in the mud, and it will fall over because it doesn't have the structure. It doesn't have the ground supporting it enough to where it can hold it. But if you stick the stick, of course, this is a loose representation. If you stick the stick further into the mud, it might lean a little, but it's still not going to fall all the way over. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of what happened there. And then if you think about that with the idea of resets and mud floods, that the building got covered up, man. It got shifted, and the mud was moving around, and it slowly just shifted over,
And that's funny too, because if you look at most of the like Super Bowl wins or like the World Series wins, their parades actually end up at those Capitol buildings.
Absolutely.
So it's like, and it's funny too, because I'm from Denver. So I went and celebrated Super Bowl 33 with Elway, even though he's a Freemason. And we were at the Capitol building partying, so dumb.
Right. And looking back in hindsight, I used to be a huge John Elway fanatic. I used to love the Denver Broncos growing up, but I actually did I remember, I think I was in third or fourth grade. I did a report on John Elway for my class, and I used to eat that stuff up. But of course, John Elway is a Freemason. A lot of the football players are, and that's what they do. They are looshing your energy in those giant stadiums that are conveniently enough shaped like a giant freaking eyeball. And people are just boozing it out, and they're drinking libations and partying, and they're just getting their energy loosed from them. The entire point of the entire game is to have your energy loosed from you. That's why I can't get into mainstream sports anymore. It's not that I'm not into athletics or the athletic dichotomy, but I just can't give my energy to it anymore, knowing what I know. And I'll tell you a movie that recently came out the past couple years that's telling you the occult origins of football, for example, is Him. If you've never seen that movie, they're telling you in that movie the occult origins of football. And like all mainstream sports, they are all masonically created sports to control the masses. And just like football, the baseball stadium itself is a Masonic square and compass. You got to think about the positions of the players, the outfielder, you have the batter, you have the pitcher, you have the referee, and what do referees wear? The black and white aesthetic. So, I mean, it's right in front of your face, dude. You just got to know the symbology. And
No, you're right. Somebody had once said recently that they're all Freemasons. All the referees are like lawyers and judges.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And a black lady, she had come out, she posted a video on TikTok, and I saved it. She'd come out of that movie, Him, and she was like, do not go see this movie. Do not. It is all demonic. It's all bad. And I was just like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you got to think about, it's called Him because we like to describe somebody that's, really good at something. Oh, that guy's him, he's him. But you got to think about the deeper esoteric meaning there. What him are they actually talking about? Extremely creepy.
And that's funny because even Tennessee, they're building a new stadium and it looks like a cube.
Right. Well, they have to have their black cube of Saturn references with things too. It goes into the Saturn conversation. Of course, that's why in Mecca they rotate 365 days of the year around the Mecca, black cube, for example. And then, of course, the cornerstone of it, they have to touch it, which I think is some type of substance that's actually drawing people to it. I don't think it's just religious. I think there's something much deeper going on there. But that's just one point of reference. I mean, you can see Saturn in literally everything. I mean, you got to think about that in the conjunction with Kronos, the keeper of time. Saturn goes into Saturnalia, which is, eating their own offspring. I mean, this is told to us in a lot of different ways. And then Saturn's, of course, an anagram for Satan, which means adversary. It's not just your pitchfork devil with a mustache and a pitchfork. I think everybody thinks of the devil in that way, and that's quite laughable, really.
There's the stained glass right there.
Yep, and there's your Jesuit symbol right there. And then you have on the left and right, you have Jachin and Boaz being represented there.
Yep.
On that aesthetic. We'll come around the other side here.
Even that building right there is probably one too.
Yeah, talking about that one over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've looked at it a little bit. I might have to go live again later, or not later, but at a different time because the phone's kind of getting low. But I think that one might be too. But yeah, let's check out the Sacred Heart Hospital, or not hospital, but a church here while we still got some time and some battery left. But yeah, you can see the stitched brickwork, which is insane.
Even the church I took a picture of, it has that same type of symbolism in Fort Scott. Because you're old enough to remember you saw shapes when it snowed, right?
Yes.
We don't see that anymore.
No. I actually had a video on one of my old yeeted TikToks of I got like 500,000 views on it, but I was actually holding a lighter up to a snowball, and of course people were saying, well, it's compacted, it's not going to be able to do. I was like, it's not even melting like at all. It's supposed to somewhat melt with direct flame, and it wasn't, because of all the heavy metals and all kinds of other crap they put in this chemtrails and whatnot.
Yeah. Wow, that thing is just beautiful.
Yeah, we're going to come around to the front of it. Like I was saying too, like I was saying too, Nick, if you look at these gates and stuff, you can actually tell that this was probably part of the ethereal energy siphoning as well. That's why all the entire outline of the building, you see the curved bricks going down around the building. And this is something I actually didn't notice before. I don't know if we can make that out. Patented number 2, 1881, Spring, Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, they like to put big fences around their homes, Lizzie. You know, these government officials really like to hide away from the public, even though they're supposed to be working for us, right?
Right.
It's like they're scared of us or something, which they should be. The government should always fear its people. It shouldn't be the other way around.
Agreed.
And then if you see here, we were talking about this earlier, I think this is actually one solid piece of stone. And it's absolutely insane to think about that, because how in the heck did you carve some solid piece of stone like that?
Right. Wow, that's just like amazing.
You can see the Sacred Heart there in the stone.
That's crazy.
You can see it says INRI right there. And then you have more Jesuit symbolism being shown right there with the two keys that are going together, which is fascinating. And I think it's interesting that that's like literally in the facade of the building.
Yeah. Yeah, because somebody took their time to whatever chisel all that out or whatever they did.
Right. And you can actually look this up. I'm not just pulling this out of a hat. You look up Jesuit symbolism and you can see this, the IHS. Exactly like we were talking about earlier. It's like the Chevy symbol. I think that's why they use the Chevy symbol. It's more Masonic symbolism being used in the corporate world.
Yeah, the chevron. Yeah.
Yeah, the two keys. And I think there's much more to the keys as well. The keys to information, as well as just the symbolism of the key. It's a power. It's a way of harnessing ether, as well as all the ethereal symbols are all tied back to every major religious symbol, including the moon, the star. It's used with the Muslim symbol. Of course, that's the Moorish symbol. That's why we called it the Fertile Crescent in the Gulf of Mexico. Potentially that's where the Garden of Eden is in Florida.
Okay.
Of course, this is speculation, but I think the implications are fascinating. But I also think, the keys kind of always came to me as well, going back to video games with the Kingdom Hearts series. The main weapon in the game is a keyblade, but it's used as a way to open up and close up the heart of the world as it's described in those games, but it's also a literal weapon you use to fight the main enemies, which are called Heartless, of course.
Yeah, just like that movie Ready Player One, there were keys.
Yes. That's great. That's a great movie.
It is. And it's so symbolic too, because they've got the time machine. The second clue was The Shining. It's just like, come on, bro.
Exactly. It's just in your face.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like somebody said earlier, is like, how do you stitch brick together? Like it literally looks like it's stitched together.
It really does. It looks like scales.
Look at those rounded bricks.
See, we don't understand the level of artistry that went into this masonry.
No. Well, that's why the Masons, they say, it'll never say they built it. It'll say they found it,
Right.
because it's founded in whatever date they want to make up off the top of their head. A lot of mainstream cities, or big cities, I shouldn't use, not specifically mainstream cities, but yeah, major cities, they have a lot of these cathedrals. There's that word cathode in there.
Yep.
But this is probably one of the best ones in Augusta. Augusta isn't super big. Obviously, I've went over here twice today, so you can obviously tell the city isn't that big. But it does still have old world architecture that's worth doing lives on.
I agree.
And there's your heart symbolism up there.
More stained glass. Wow.
And I actually think that this stained glass is an afterthought. I don't think this stained glass was originally here. A lot of times I think they put this in as an afterthought, potentially. It wasn't always there. I could be wrong, but I mean, it ties into another topic, which is alchemical glass.
Yeah.
And alchemists actually used to put themselves in extremely dark areas, and then they would siphon the light through stained glass windows. And when they would siphon the light through the stained glass windows, they were able to do their work. Potentially these buildings were alchemically created. I mean, that's also something worth thinking about. It's using a certain method of science and physics that is been hidden from us. Because in my opinion, I think the first science was alchemy, if you will. Of course, it's told to us that alchemy is a fantastical topic and subject, but I don't think that's the case. I think alchemy was just as real as, you and me.
Yeah, I've been trying to look for some blue glass bottles that they used back in the day to see if it works. I'm a firm believer that it would give us good water or healing water.
Right. Let's go over here real quick. Might as well. I think I still got enough to make something happen. Let's check out this other church and see how it stands up to the Sacred Heart Church. I don't think it's going to be as impressive.
No, and this was probably like another outbuilding or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, it might be old world. I'm not sure. I haven't really checked this one out yet. Let's see, though. Let's see. You look at this stuff long enough, you can just tell usually immediately if it's old world or not, or
Right.
if it's new. Let's see. Maybe? Maybe not? I don't know.
It's hard to tell, right?
I
With this one, anyway.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. This one looks kind of more modern. I mean, they got a little bit of like kind of crown molding stuff going on there, but or capitals is the better terminology.
Yeah.
My dad actually told me about that. Of course, you have the base of your columns, and I was helping him with one of his at his house the other day, he's building, and I was putting this up, and I was like, oh, we got to get this crown molding. He's like, that's not called crown molding. I was like, oh, what's it called? It's called a capital. I was like, oh, interesting. So that's why we maybe call it the Capitol building, you know, like in D.C., because of all the capitals that are there.
Right.
It's all in the etymology. Yeah, it's starting to die. Let's see, Lizzie. Just a quick question real quick, Liz, and then I got to shut it down here in a second, but you can go ahead and come in real quick.
Hello.
Hey, Lizzie, what's up? You got a question?
Yeah, okay, so you know those patterns in the big windows in the cathedrals, the churches, the circles?
Yeah.
You know how they make those with like resonating with like frequency and sound and they can produce it on a flat plane? Have you seen that? Have you seen the ones where they take like looking down on DNA, like two spirals of your DNA, and they take that image and pull it apart, and it pulls apart into those patterns? Have you seen
Absolutely
that?
fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I think I know what you're talking about. Just you're saying the intrinsic nature of the DNA itself is tied in with ethereal symbolism.
With those patterns in those windows.
Yes.
I've seen like some of these creators are pulling the images apart with computer whatever. And
right.
And yeah, that's what it comes out to be, like 3 or 4 of those. It's kind of cool.
I'll give you guys something. No, you're good. No, that's fine. I appreciate it. I'll tell you something to check out though, Lizzie. It'll go into what you're talking about. If you look on YouTube, I believe if you type it in, you might be able to find it. It's Russian 1981 ether. I think if you type that in, it's a combination of either Russian 1981 ether or 1981 Russian ether antiquitech or something along those lines. You should be able to find a video on there, and it's a video from the early 1980s of these Russian scientists, and they are checking each of these ethereal symbols, all of the religious symbols, and they're tying it into the microcosm of the world itself. So that being the atomical baseline of the fabric of reality. So my hand, this sign right here, this tree, and when you break things down to the microcosmic level, you will discover that all of the symbols and signs that we use in religious contexts, or in the religious context, are literally making up the fabric of reality, which goes back into my opinion of the reason why they have split the truth into different religious sects. It's not so much that my truth is the unadulterated truth outside of, my religious standpoint. It's that there's fundamental truth in all of the religions themselves. And that's what they don't want you to realize, is they don't want you to put the big picture together of all of the signs and symbols that are connecting these religions are just as fundamental in their truth as Christianity with the cross, as with Islam and the moon and a star. You have the Celtic cross. You have all of these different signs and symbols, and there's fundamental ethereal truth within all of them. I mean, even the word ether, if you break it down, is literally heart and earth. If you rearrange the letters. So it's telling you that it's literally making up everything, if you will.
$3.59 for gas down there? You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, it's insanity, brother. It's an absolute, it's an absolute shit show, man.
Oh man,
You can't make it up. It's going to get worse.
it is.
And people are just like casually just walking around and stuff like everything's normal. I mean, I remember in the 90s when gas was, like 70 or 80 cents a gallon or something, or 90 cents.
Yeah, $20 would fill up a tank.
Yeah, and you could freaking just ride all day, man.
Right.
Eddie, the Ankh, exactly. The Ankh is an ethereal symbol. I mean, the Egyptians, if you tie that in, that ties into the Atlantean conversation with Thoth, which is where we get the word thought from.
Huh.
And Thoth, of course, in my research in New Orleans, if you know about a guy named Saint Germain was said to be an esteemed alchemist. And if you look into Saint Germain, there's been entire religions that have been based off of this man. He's said to have been reincarnated several times throughout our history, and he's also said to be a vampire as well. In the New Orleans context, he was a vampire that eluded the police, and his house, when they actually went inside of it, had vials of blood inside of it. And of course, he was said to be the reincarnation of Thoth, the Atlantean, as well as Thoth in Egypt, because it was said that when Atlantis fell, that Thoth went to Egypt and kept on doing things there. But I think when you tie it in with the Nephilim connection, it's fascinating because he's said to have. Here's actually a picture I took in New Orleans. That's a real picture I took of the vampires and the aesthetic of a building I took down there. I'm sure they just did that for entertainment purposes only, right?
Right.
They didn't have any reason to do this, and there's no reason that Saint Germain was said to be a vampire and all this other stuff. But anyways, the fact that I'm kind of going all over the place. But anyway, so Thoth is said to have the head of an ibis. Now, when you tie that in with all these chimeric beings that were apparently existing in the antediluvian era, pre-flood, it makes a lot of sense that these entities would have been deified. Because like I told my dad this, I told my wife this, I said, in the context of Zeus, for example. So Zeus is said to have been able to throw literal lightning bolts. Well, I think that Zeus and the entire Greek pantheon were the offspring of the fallen ones, or the Watchers, interbreeding with humans, and they're the offspring. And of course, if I saw some dude, right, manifest a freaking lightning bolt and threw it into the side of a mountain, I'd probably be like, yeah, that guy's God. So it's easy to understand how these gods and goddesses were revered and deified, because they were real. And all of these legends, Artemis, Athena, Apollo, Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great, right? All that stuff. And also Saint Germain is said to be the reincarnation of Hermes. I think all this stuff is much more real than people like to give credence to. I just think it's an absolutely fascinating thing to talk about. But I
agree.
The vampire narrative, we'll go into that a little bit more as I'm moving along. The vampires, I just did a video on my page as well, talking about the connection between vampires and the ancient Canaanites. So, like Snafu and we were talking about earlier, we have the Cain, Abel, and Seth narrative from the pre-flood era. They were supposed to be some of the first humans, if you will, or were they human at all? And where this comes from is, I think when you bust down the etymology, you'll notice that Cain apparently killed Abel, right? Well, when I take the word Cain and I take the word or name Abel, the name Cain and Abel, and I put them next to each other, what do I get? I get cannibal, right? Well, where am I getting the vampire connection as well as the cannibal connection? Well, I talk about in the video how there was the video game series in the early 90s or late 90s and early 2000s of the Legacy of Kain series. Of course, you take the role of a anti-hero, literal blood-sucking vampire, and the name of the series itself is called Legacy of Kain. Well, I think they're telling you to your face that the legacy of Kain is freaking blood-sucking vampires. And yeah, that's where you're getting the word cannibal from. It goes back, just like Snafu said, I don't think it was just Cain murdered Abel. It's more like Cain ate Abel. You know, he ate his own brother. So
that's a good analogy.
Yeah, so it's just interesting when you start thinking about that in terms of the Nephilim, for example, because if these entities or individuals were the offspring of fallen or watcher angels, which is said to have been a story throughout not just Orthodox Christianity, but a lot of other cultures, you'll notice that that is a perfect kind of description of, yeah, this goes way back. This goes way further back than people would like to give, like I said, credence to. Even with werewolves, for example. Why is it in the Underworld movie series that the werewolves and the vampires are warring against each other? Because this is going back through ancient bloodlines that goes all the way back into the antediluvian era. And not all of these chimeric abominations and creatures were specifically wiped out. Now, a lot of the trees and stuff in the pre-flood era were said to have been chopped down by other angels so that the giants couldn't escape. But some of the giants and other Nephilim, if you will, were escaping in underground tunnels and whatnot, which is, of course, why there's still that connection between, like I said, Cyclopses being underground or other Greek mythological creatures, because these Greek mythological, when I hear the word myth, I'm thinking of Mithraism. I'm thinking of how it actually is probably real and not mythological at all. It's how they were all real in and of themselves. And that's why they are talked about, because it's not specifically a mythological account. It's a historical account of the old world itself. And that's why they push these things as legends and myths, because they don't want you to realize that it was real, you know?
Right. So yeah, then the picture I have up was the picture of the building I took in Fort Scott.
Let's expand that there. Oh wow, that's got some Zoroastrian kind of overtone going on there.
Right, and you can see where it says Scottish Rite Temple, but they took the words off, obviously.
Right. Well, I'll tell you,
it's everywhere.
I actually visited. It is, Nick. It absolutely is. I'll tell you, Nick. When I was in DC a couple of years back too, I did some live videos down there. I did some just regular videos as well. But I visited the main Scottish Rite Temple that is in DC, and it's got these two giant sphinxes with a man's face on them on the outside, and that kind of ties into the manticore, which is said to be a creature that was native to Persia. Well, let's think about it for a second with all the world events going on. So Persia is now modern day Iran. And the manticore was said to have the face of a man, the body of a lion, and the tail of a scorpion. And the Knights Templar apparently actually encountered this thing. This is actually a historical account. You can reference some bestiaries and stuff that they encountered this manticore. Well, I also have on my TikTok page as well a picture of the old world flags. Of course, you have the griffin for Tartaria. You have the dragon for China, which was, like I said, probably a real creature. And then if you look at Persia, their flag looks like a lion. But if you zoom in a little bit on it, it looks like it has the face of a man. So it's not a lion. It's showing it's a manticore, which is indicative that, yeah, this thing used to be the symbol of Iran or Persia, because the manticore was native to Persia, just as the chimera was native to Greece. You know, the chimera and the manticore are not the same thing. Now, of course, we use chimera to describe a creature with several different animal parts connected to it, but the chimera was a different kind of creature. It was like a lion with like wings and a snake for a tail and a goat coming out of its body. So you have all kinds of different hybrid creatures that existed in the old days. And that's why a lot of people are like, I wish I would have lived back then. And I'm like, you know, do you really want to wish for that? Because I don't know if you really would have wanted to live back then. It sounds like some terrifying shit was around.
Right.
That picture is crazy.
Yeah, bro. In the inside, it was just even more crazy. They had Sphinx at the he said we could see that there was an old organ there, and the pipes came down from the ceiling, and you could just tell that those organs were like, you could feel the music, you could feel the energy from the organ.
Absolutely. And then Nick, think about it. It's like, what do we call these devices, organic devices inside of our bodies? We call them organs, right? So maybe that's why they called the musical instrument an organ, because the organs would heal your body using cymatics, and that's where the spiritual geometry ties in. So it wasn't specifically these places were churches. It was more so that they were healing centers for people to go to. If they had something wrong with them, they could go inside, they play the organs, and it would heal the individual itself. Also, you got to think about the altars in these churches that would contain water. And when they would play the organs using cymatics, I was actually watching a video on this the other day of a Tibetan bowl laid in water, and somebody was banging it, and you can see the cymatics emanating into the water itself. So it's purifying the water. That's why that's where we get the terminology of holy water from. The water has been cymatically purified, and when you ingest the water, it purifies yourself. So that's why maybe vampires, right? They can't take holy water. Think about that for a second.
Right.
So it's fascinating. Really, this is spiritual science we're talking about, you know, and this goes back into, like I was saying, I think everything that we know about the alchemists being a just fringe group that didn't know what they were talking about is, I think, a BS narrative to shun us away from the original way of true science. You know, we have the modern day science explanation of things, of course, you know, with the heliocentric model, for example. And they're not even using real science when you break down the numbers they're using pseudoscience. It's funny, they'll say that the geocentrist or biblical cosmologist, such as what I would consider myself, we're not using real science. But when, like I said, you look into their quote unquote science, they're not using science at all, dude. They're using, it's all fake. It's all, you know, made up stuff that people would never really take their due diligence and go look into. They would rather appeal to an authority figure than think for themselves, and that's what they do. People are just like, oh, well, he's smarter than I am, so I should believe him. Like, that's some crazy, wild logic to go by.
He's wearing a lab coat. He's smart.
Exactly. And I mean, there's actually been, I've seen some experiments done where somebody will come up on a stage wearing a white lab coat. They'll spew out some BS, and the people start to eat it up. And then the guy in the middle of the lecture will just rip his lab coat off and be like, I'm really not a scientist at all. And it just shows how, people they see the white lab coat and they're like, this guy's got to be smart, right? Like, no, dude.
Right.
It's more of a form of brainwashing, you know, to lead you away from looking into holistics, for example.
More of like a hypnosis, you know?
Absolutely.
I am happy to be. Oh yeah, if you're getting off here, I just want to say I am happy to be alive at this time where we're all, people like us are connecting the dots. Oh,
absolutely. And I got a couple more miles, and then I'll be back at the crib, and then I'm going to shut it down. But yeah, I'll keep it going until then. But hypnosis. When you look into the origin of the guy that invented hypnotism, and it'll blow your mind.
Okay.
It literally will blow your mind. I know I've told you to look into a lot of things. It's a lot of stuff to look into, but yeah, I think it's fascinating thinking about that. I also think about it in the context. Ooh, that's a cool one.
Same building.
Oh, you see that? That's the Rosicrucian pelican, if I'm not mistaken. It is the Rosicrucian pelican, injuring itself, feeding its young. You see the baby bird's nest below it?
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah, bro. Like I said, dude.
Yeah, that's the Rosicrucian pelican. That's the symbol of the state of state of Louisiana. That's a secret society, sir.
Yes, sir.
The Rosicrucians are once again another subsect or secret society. That there's so many secret societies that actually war against each other and vie for power against each other. A lot of people don't realize that. They think all the secret societies are with each other. That couldn't be further from the truth. You have literal societies vying over power. I mean, it goes back into the antediluvian or pre-flood era with Nimrod. Nimrod himself, or Gilgamesh, the guy that was responsible for constructing the Tower of Babel, is responsible for creating a lot of the dogma and doctrine of the secret societies that we have today. So a lot of these secret societies were created by the Nephilim, if you will, or non-human entities.
Right.
Really creepy stuff.
Yeah. And it's funny how we just we're drawn to it, and we know what we know, even though we don't know what we know,
Right. You just have that intuition. You have that gut instinct that something's off, and we have that inner monologue. And a lot of people walking around are NPCs, and they actually don't have an inner monologue. They don't think for themselves. They're quite literal flesh bots walking around. I'm not just saying that they're NPCs just to say they're robots. I mean, they're literal. I mean, they may as well be robots though, because they don't talk to themselves inside of their head. They don't think at all. They just go along with things. And I've actually seen some experiments with that as well. People just they're like, oh, I don't think at all. I mean, they'll come out and say it, and it's really creepy brainwashing level stuff. It kind of goes into that movie. They live with the glasses. They don't have the glasses on like we do.
They don't investigate their own mind.
Absolutely.
I just saw a picture of that Rosicrucian pelican underneath of the angle, like the Freemason angle,
Yes. It's one of those ones, like once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's all over the place. It's in New Orleans for sure. It's on their flag for Louisiana. I noticed it in New Orleans when I was walking around. It's everywhere. But guys, I just pulled back into the driveway. Thank you for coming in the live. Nick, you were awesome. Lizzie, it was good talking to you. I appreciate the questions. Check out the channel. Check out my YouTube, Ether Freak. That's spelled AETHER, Freak, FREAK, on YouTube. And guys, you've been lovely. You've been awesome.
Thanks, brother.
Have a great rest of your day.
Spend some time with your wife.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.